Alright, we're in. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ian and Kyle, Mangle the English Language, also known as FixTheChat.com, also known as Ian and Kyle. Play versus system incorrectly.
We have many names.
We do have many names.
And there's an error on the screen. Your video card disappeared from the system. That is an amazing error. I love that error. Somebody wrote that perfectly.
That's literally what that says.
Yeah.
Take two? Hello? 1 2 1 2. We're back. Hi, this is us again.
Hopefully this time the computer won't lose its own video card.
Chris, did you hear what happened? It was pretty hilarious. We actually got an error message that said my video card disappeared.
Yeah, I mean,
like literally those words.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it was something like the video card for the system no longer exists or something. I mean,
it said disappeared.
It
like
said
it
disappeared.
Used the word disappeared. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
That's
the one.
the one.
Yeah. Wow, Chris is familiar with that amazingly written error code.
I'm not sure how that would happen. I promise my video card did not, in fact, disappear.
I know a computer that would disagree with you.
It wasn't a computer that disagreed. It was an error message. So yeah, I guess we're okay now. Well, hopefully that's not gonna cause any future problems. Was that an issue you have experienced before, Chris?
I found that novel, that's for sure.
Chris is not responding. I hope we're live.
No, he said we're back.
Oh, there we go.
Saying things.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. That was a heck of a send-off.
I'm just going to count this deck.
Okay, that's a good plan.
Entertain our audience.
Entertain our audience. So we're back. We've been off for 2 weeks, as is our new streaming schedule, and I'm starting to discover how entertaining it is that just by being off 2 weeks, I kind of forget how we do all of the stuff that we do. So I forgot to bring up my cards initially again and that sort of thing. And
It's good times.
Kyle's mom was in town, so we started a little late tonight because we had actually unmarked our play area and not remarked it prior to the stream because we're not organized or professional or anything like that.
True.
It's just Ian and Kyle here mangling the English language.
And looking for tape.
Looking for tape. Yeah, we misplaced the tape. Couldn't find the tape.
I still don't. I genuinely don't understand why the tape wasn't in the box.
Where did you put the tape after you used it?
I put it in the box.
Good. The tape is in the
So
box.
I claim.
So, what's going on? We usually talk... That doesn't seem right. That seems way wrong.
That's probably right.
Really?
One of these two cards, I have confidence goes in.
Are
this
you making
deck.
piles of 10? Because if
They're
so,
piles of 5.
Oh, okay. Phew. I was like, if you make
I have
piles
a
of 10 and then
100,
5 left,
20
that doesn't
card
seem
deck.
right. Yeah, I wasn't counting the piles. I was
Okay,
just,
that's fair.
casually observing what you were doing anyway. Probably incorrectly.
Yeah, these both go in.
So,
I got it.
we usually talk about video games. Kyle, are you doing any video game stuff, or have you been lately?
Yeah,
were playing Grim Dawn.
Due to my family being in town,
You
my
didn't get a
mom,
chance to do
I
any
have
of that?
not. Yeah, I haven't played any games in the
Are
past
you
week.
going to play God of War?
So it's funny you should ask that. For some reason, I had not been paying almost any attention, and now that's just suddenly out and is, according to general consensus, amazing.
It sounds... I haven't played it. I don't know a whole lot about it. It sounds like it's an open world game now?
That's what I've heard, and I'm really intrigued.
That actually intrigues me, and that's significant coming from me, because I didn't really like the one God of War I played, and...
Did you finish it?
I did not. I only played a couple hours,
Okay.
but even though I'd heard the second one improved on it a little bit, I didn't even give it a try, because I generally don't like brawlers.
It's a brawler.
And it was a very...
It's a very brawlery
brawler, yeah. And it was a gorgeous game, and I'll give it credit for that, but that doesn't carry a game for me as it does for a lot of people.
Sure.
It was very cinematic. It controlled really well. Like, you pick up the controller and you know how to do stuff.
Yeah, you feel
and
amazing.
I can't even explain that.
Yeah.
But it does the thing that brawlers do that I don't like, where it's like, all right, kill 5 enemies. And I'm like, I killed 5 enemies. And I'm like, now kill 6. And I'm like, I killed 6. And it's like, how about 7? And I'm like, are we going to do something else?
Yeah.
Here's 7. 8. All right.
Well, it's definitely, and I don't even...
I can do that for a couple hours, but I can't do
Right.
it for like 8 or whatever is the actual length of that game.
Right. Yeah, it does. It's, I mean, you're not wrong in that, in any of that explanation. It's definitely a brawler, and if that, the core combat experience doesn't really resonate with you. It won't drive it because there's almost zero exploration. There's almost zero retread for power, for example.
Chris is agreeing with me.
Yeah. And their cinematic locations were certainly really good. And the second one is definitely, it was the best in the, well, okay, I shouldn't say it was the best in the series. The first three, it was definitely the best. The second one was by far the best. And it didn't do anything particularly different, it just did it better. Which probably means that you wouldn't really like it. It's very imaginative encounters.
One of the things, so I have a funny nit I picked with the original games that I hear the second game improved upon, is that the original games were the games as a whole were inspired by, Greek and Roman mythology and now Norse mythology and some other mythologies mixed in. But the original was very fast and loose with its interpretation, and I actually didn't like that a lot.
Oh, interesting.
So I hear they kind of got more correct in their interpretation of the mythology in the second game.
I suppose if you can acknowledge that there is a character rampaging his way through the gods.
Did Chris borrow your God of War 3 and never return it?
That does seem possible.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Chris!
Happy birthday! Yay! I got Chris a birthday present. Birthday present. I buffed them.
Well, I don't think you've ever buffed anything. So really.
Speaking of which, dear, could you please bring me a damp paper towel?
What a segue! This was totally smooth.
We got nobody.
Speaking of birthdays, it was Kyle's birthday this week, or
it was
since our last stream.
It was.
Anyway.
I'm older now.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah.
1 year.
A few days by some measures, a year by others.
I'm very tired tonight, so it's going to be an interesting night.
Thank you, dear.
Are you cleaning up our?
Oh yeah, that's right. That's why I asked for this. Let me just.
Forget why you asked me.
Well,
So I might actually wind up with a copy of God of War 4, and I can't promise I'll do it anytime soon. But as I was sort of hinting at earlier, I am a little intrigued by it, so I might give it a try and see if I can jump back into the God of War game. But again, it's a big investment, and I'm not in a position where I can do a big investment. Again, I'm holding out for Swords of Ditto, which comes out Tuesday, I think, if I did my math correctly. Yes, Tuesday of next week. So that's something I've been really excited for a while. It could be terrible, I don't know, but the trailers make it look really good, and they had kazoo music, and
they really had kazoo
I can't
music.
even.
Yeah.
So what else is going on? I was playing Slay the Spire, but I stopped.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. We might have had a stream even since then.
Well, what your finish point was?
Maybe not. I
was spend 2 minutes on it, maybe.
Because so I was playing in Ascension mode, and we had discussed that a little bit, and I thought that Ascension mode peaked at 10. I remember talking about Ascension mode. I don't remember talking about me sort of burning out. So I played, and I got to 10, and it turns out there's actually 15 Ascension modes, and they plan to add more.
Oh, wow.
And I kept playing a little bit after that, but I think I actually really burnt myself out on the game. So I will go back for sure. I like the game a lot. I continue to sing its praises, but I don't want to play it for a while. It'll be months at least before I get back in there.
Yeah,
But it was a fantastic experience, and I still highly recommend it for everybody.
Yeah, it's really good. I will say this. I feel like for me personally, the thing that would bring me back and make me play it a bit more is a new class.
Well, yeah, and there's a new class planned because there's literally UI for the new class that is not available yet.
Interesting. I don't know if I saw that when I last played. That may have been added.
I wonder if they pulled it out.
Maybe.
There used to be a locked third class option.
Interesting.
So I needed something to bide my time till Swords of Ditto. So I played, and I think I'm done with now, a game called 20XDX. And Chris actually recommended this game to me. I had been aware of it, but I had forgotten about it.
Yeah.
It was a Kickstarter that I kind of caught wind of, and like Kickstarters, I'm sure it came out 2 or 3 years later minimum than when it was kickstarted.
Yeah.
But Chris reminded me about it a few months ago, and I started playing it about a week ago. And it's also a roguelike, but it's in the style of Mega Man X. which is an
yeah.
interesting thing to have a roguelike for, and I kind of enjoyed it. And the reason I'm done with it was surprisingly easy. Like, it took me a while to finish the game, but after I think maybe 8 tries, I got to a point where I could pretty consistently finish the game.
Right.
And I hadn't unlocked all of the content. There's so much content, and the unlock was really slow. Like, in terms of, they have the it is a roguelite, so you can unlock things that are permanent upgrades. I didn't unlock any of that because that's boring, and it was not a difficult game. And they have the concept of like, oh, unlock this item and it'll show up in your future runs, and that's the content I was unlocking. But I only got through about 2/3 of that, and that's after playing a week past when I felt like I was done with it. And I'm like,
Not compelled to this, but did you enjoy the experience overall? Still enjoy it?
No, it was pretty good. I would definitely recommend it for sure. I might do some streaming of it on my individual stream someday. You can play through the game in about an hour, which is nice.
Sure.
So maybe I'll do that next time. Digital Eclipse does
Like a streaming night. Or
what was the thing we do?
Stream for
Games for kids with
Kids for life
health
stream
problems. The heck is it? Extra Life.
Extra Life. I
That's
knew
what
life
that-
was involved.
Yeah. So maybe next time we do Extra Life, I'll throw that in there because it should be a short thing to get through. Or maybe I'll do it on my personal stream at some point. So that about covers video games, I think, if you have nothing further to add.
I don't think so. John went God of War a little bit. Snuck up on me. Probably go back to Grim Dawn this weekend,
Awesome. That'll be exciting.
which will be good. Yeah. I don't think I have anything else. I don't think I have anything else in the game.
Well, let's touch briefly on board games,
Sure.
which I'm going to use to segue into Dungeons and Dragons. And I want to first offer an apology to our audience. I don't know if Casey's here. I know Chris is here, but we talked about that on our last stream, and I don't know if things got a little heated, but there was a lot of cross chatter, and I sensed there was some frustration at that. And unfortunately, our show, the Kyle and Ian show, is not a great venue for a dialogue with our audience about things.
Right.
Like, at any given time, we only catch about 2/3 of what anybody writes.
Yeah.
So, the reason I mentioned that is, first, I wanted to apologize to anybody whose feelings we hurt. And second, I want to recommend that if you guys, Chris, or Casey, if you're watching, want to have an in-depth discussion about this stuff, I personally am very interested in your opinion on it, but this is not a good venue for it.
Yeah.
So, Chris, you have my Discord contact. Casey, you do not, but you can get that from Chris, and we can have an offline conversation, and I'm very interested in your opinions on what's going on. I did not play this week. I was pissed a lot, which also sort of set the tone for that discussion last week. I'm less pissed, but I have lost a lot of the interest, or momentum's a good way to put it, that I had with that game. So I'm kind of middle of the road whether I want to keep going or not at this point.
Right.
And I'll keep our viewers up to date till how that's going. But, it was
Indeterminate.
kind of disappointing that I got there, but that's how it goes. Adult role-playing games tend to go that direction.
Right.
And I very genuinely would rather not be in a game than be in a bad game. You know?
Right. Yeah, it's not the mechanics of being in a any game like that. It is dependent upon the synergy of the group for sure.
Yeah, and we're not a well-matched group, and that is largely the problem. I think Casey was making that point. I think Chris was also making that point last week, and I agree, and I knew that going in. And
it was worth the risk.
I'm at the point where I'm not just going to be like, "F it, I'm out," but I'm going to be like, "Look, here's the way we're having conflict. What can we do about it? And if you guys are having fun doing this thing that is causing me not to have fun, keep having fun, and I'll take off.
No hard feelings.
Yeah.
It's just mismatch is mismatch, and that's true with anything. I was talking with some of my own, the design team that I work with earlier today, or earlier in the week, maybe it wasn't today. Brain problems and all that. But I was talking to them a bit, and you can have multiple talented people in any particular environment, or passionate people or whatever you want. But if people are just operating on a different wavelength, team cohesion breaks down. And that is true professionally, it is true personally, it is true in experiences like role-playing and so forth. So there's so much to be said for just being on the same wavelength. It's not to say right or wrong wavelength, but definitely, if there's a mismatch, it's less fun. It's a little bit less fun for everybody, especially the person that's the mismatched individual.
Well, it's going to make it extraordinarily difficult for the GM, and I don't know how much our GM is interested in this, but as Casey pointed out last week or a couple weeks ago, pardon me. Yeah. Part of the role of the GM is to make sure that all of the players, and it's balanced with a lot of other things the GM is doing. Right. One of the things GM ideally should do is try to engage the players and make them or help them to have a good time. And we're in a position now where I think if he does that for some players, it will be to the detriment of other players and vice versa. So that might.
It's just an unhealthy situation.
Yeah. Anywho, that's that. I don't know what's going to happen, but I don't have a game. We don't plan to have a game in that campaign. Like, we had planned to have one last night, and it fell through. We don't plan to have a game for another 3 or 4 weeks, so we'll have that long to sort of figure out what's going on. Last night, the GM felt underprepared, and I always encourage a GM if they feel underprepared, just be like, hey, if one person has to be ready and all in on this game, it's the GM. It's the GM. So we wound up playing some board games instead. And then their next session, which would be in the beginning of May, one of the players is going to try to run a one-shot. And I'm not sure if I'm going to participate in that or not yet, but it's not the original campaign. So we'll see. Like, I'm in a bad headspace across the board.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we played board games, Chris. It was no big deal. I got to play Legendary with new people. It was exciting. And the GM's going through a lot of personal stuff right now, too, which is probably contributing to some of the friction in the game. So I think it was good for the GM to have that night to not have to do the work of running the game, but get to be social and hang out and relax and play some board games. I think it was a healthy. It was like a mental health night for that guy.
That's good. That's very good. Very, very good. I thought of this is kind of minor, but I'll go back one topic.
Chris is saying I should do the one shot. I'm thinking about it. I'm having trouble. Like, one of my issues has always been I have to be interested in the character I'm playing. I know this is not the way everybody approaches GM or role playing, but the way I do role playing is I have to be interested in my character from the get go to be able to feel motivations when presented with choices and what like I have to have some head picture of my character, so you can go, oh, there's a crossroads, what do you do? And I go, okay, this is who this character is, so I can draw this distinction here. So it's hard for me to do a one shot for two reasons. One, because if the character is not persistent, I can't. It's stupid to put a lot of work into it. I don't know what number. I lost my train of thought.
Around one.
It might not have been important.
Maybe there was just one.
But that's part of it. It's like, and this is a one shot that might grow in. It might be like a one shot that we revisit every once in a while. But yeah, it's hard for me, especially after I just got a bad beat, and that's kind of on my mind, and it's what's been demotivating me. So it's kind of hard to be like, oh well, I want to throw a new character together. Like, it almost would feel like I'm giving up on the old character at this point.
Do you have so would the one shot be with different characters? Is that the intention that everyone?
It would be with different characters.
And so I guess I would actually say that. Whether or not...
I mean, Chris makes a good point. Yeah. There is value in me getting out of my comfort zone. Yeah. But the flip side is I'm just in such a bad headspace about it that it's hard for me to get there right now. If what happened in the other game had not just happened, I think I'd be like, let's do a one shot. Yeah, I totally want to get in there, but I'm still working through that a little bit.
I wonder... to some degree, where you end up siding with that could have to do with your confidence in the alternative GM.
Well, he's new too, so that's part of it. Is like he's one of the inexperienced players that immediately now wants to try his hand at being a GM. So there's some flags.
Right. Well, there's that can provide a value
It
on
can,
its own.
yeah. And like there's a potential for it to be an amazingly helpful situation, because if he provides a counterpoint to a style counterpoint to our current GM and he nails it, that might encourage our current GM to fix the problems in the original game.
Right.
But I don't have a good read on this guy. Like, I feel like
So it's
he's a little bit of a quiet player. It's Bill Schmidt, by the way.
Oh, really? That's
know him.
amazing.
I
Yeah,
think
know
Chris
Bill.
knows him as
Chris
well.
knows Bill, yeah.
He's a little bit of a quiet player, and he's a little bit of a follower, and he's a little bit of a min-maxer / combat-focused guy.
interesting.
And a lot of those are things I don't like. So, but it's hard for me to get a read on how he would run a game from that.
That's super interesting. It's super interesting that Bill has gotten passionate about it and start thinking about that.
It shocked me. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, it shocked me that he was in the game from the get-go.
Right.
Because I'm like, I never would have guessed Bill for somebody who would do this kind of
there
thing.
you go, yeah.
And that he's already gone like, yes, I want to run a game.
Well, clear. I mean,
I mean,
he's a
he
designer.
fancies himself a designer. Yeah,
he's a designer. So it's hard for. I will say this: it's tough for a designer to resist the call. And I remember, I know I'll give the Cliff Notes version of this, but the very first campaign that I was a part of was based around a couple of consecutive sort of marathon sessions. It was like a weekend, classic nerd story, finals week, college, let's all waste a bunch of time not studying. And
It's a terrible plan.
no, I didn't say it was a good plan.
I think I heard part of that story before. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, it was your own past. So in any event, we did like, it was only like 2 or 3 sessions. It might have just been 2, and they were like 8-hour sessions apiece, consecutive days, late nights and die rolling, good times. So I remember when we concluded it, regardless of how my experience went overall, that was actually the experience that immediately spurred me to go, well, I can do better.
Right, okay, maybe that's what's going on. Maybe
Right.
he too is dissatisfied with our current.
It's
he
possible.
is definitely. I know for a fact he's dissatisfied with the event, the ghost fight
Right,
that
he
made
felt that
everybody
was
kind of
unfulfilling
grumpy.
as
Yeah.
well.
And I think, and it's a weird position because we need to sit down and have this discussion. I've been putting it off because I've been in a bad mood.
Sure.
But we need to do it soon
Sooner rather
so that
than
we can
later.
talk about it. Everybody's really angry on my behalf
Right.
about what happened to my character.
Right.
And that's almost problematic because
Right.
what happened to my character is not at all what I'm upset about.
Right, like they're mad for the wrong reason.
Yeah.
It's not the what, it's the how.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
to be fair, have you grilled them on that point? Because I mean, I think
no,
they
no.
could
As I
say
said, like
things,
literally, I mean, it's 2 weeks later, and I was probably pissed for a good 10 days, and I'm like, I'm not gonna engage anybody because I'm just gonna be shouty and mean,
Grumpy,
and, like so and since then I've been like, well, then I'm gonna look for an opportunity to sort of talk about this stuff, and it hasn't presented itself yet. But I will force the issue if it does it in another week or so.
Right. Well, and I think like it's tough because there are things that they could say that would give you the indication that they are upset with the what, when maybe they too are upset about the how. And one of the things I will add that, like, from a game designer perspective, sometimes people who are not designers or are designers but are merely participants will confuse the two. They'll express disgruntlement with the what they're really talking about is the how.
Mm-hmm.
There's many things that can occur in a game. I mean, we easily look at the Dark Souls games as an example. There's an immense amount of challenge and deaths in the game, many losses that you're destined to experience. But many, many people go to that franchise and find great reward because of the how those things occur. So people might say, oh, I die too much. But oftentimes the criticism when they're saying that about a game is, oh, I don't like the manner in which I got defeated, or I felt like I didn't have control. Mm-hmm. So depending upon your crowd, there may be some. It may come out in the conversation that the how is also a part of their concern.
Well, yeah. So it's just more argument for that. We need to
Have a conversation.
air this laundry and see
Yeah.
what comes of it. And I will have to, because what I told him I was interested in supporting him being a GM, and I told him I wasn't sure I was going to get to a point where I could build a character and play in his one shot and feel good about it.
Right.
So between now and then, which is 2 weeks or 3 weeks away or whatever, I will have to say, yes, I will do this, or I will say, let's talk about it and make me feel better about it, or no, I'm not going to do it.
Right, right.
That will be the timer
Right.
on the discussion.
I will say this: I'm definitely pulling for Bill. I'm pulling for him to throw something together that he can feel proud about. It's a lot of work.
Well, it could be like, but he and the other guy, Jeff, are the guys I have the impression, and they're really into the stuff I don't like. They approach it like it's a video game.
Right.
And I play video games when I want to play a video
Right,
game. I
right,
play
right.
a role-playing game when I want to play a little bit more
Right.
than a video game.
Like,
So there's a lot of like, I want to kill stuff, I want to get stuff, I want to wander to the next area I see
Right.
that doesn't have anything to do with anything and
Right.
kill stuff and get stuff again. And it's just like,
well, and that's where it is interesting because there's sort of a supreme irony to some degree that, of course, many early video games mimicked things like you'd see in D&D and took inspiration from a lot of those experiences. But it is one of those things where when we look at how game mechanics can operate, there's a point where the medium of video games has matured to the point where it's no longer a simulation of Dungeons and Dragons, and in turn, we've seen Dungeons and Dragons pick up more video game style mechanics.
it definitely is like, the other reason I'm a little hesitant to join Bill's game is
Right.
I'm concluding, maybe unfairly,
Yeah.
that some of the stuff I don't like about the game I'm in are inherent to Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. So immediately jumping into the same system again is...
Right. Maybe has risks. But yeah, I think there's something funny about the cyclical, like, art imitates life, imitates art kind of thing, where we're seeing this sort of fascinating games mechanics circle.
Well, and D&D is super mainstream role-playing as well. Like, there's hundreds
Right.
of role-playing systems, probably thousands.
such a funny sentence. I mean, like, just think if the people like
No, I
30
hear it.
years ago, right? D&D is so mainstream, man. It's nothing more mainstream
But it's
than
like
D&D.
D&D's like mission statement, especially now that they're owned by Wizards of the Coast, is we are going to be the role-playing system that has the broadest market appeal.
Right.
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 So and there are systems that excel or codify the things I like about role-playing and downplay or eliminate the things I don't like about them.
Right.
And maybe a game in those systems would be better suited for me.
Right.
However, we should move on. It's a dangerous topic. I always intend to talk about it for like a minute or two, and we wandered off and whatever. We should play some cards very soon. I just want to touch on one final thing.
I'm just going to get the decks out, but you can touch on that.
Because
finally.
I got a package in the mail today.
A package in the
A
mail?
package in the mail. I got a
Do
package
tell.
from I Am 8-Bit. And I was not expecting a package from I Am 8-Bit. And in that package was a letter from Rose Quartz. Rose Quartz, of course, is a character in the TV show Steven Universe. And also in that package was this banner. This is Rose Quartz's banner,
Huh.
which I got in a package from I Am 8-Bit today. I don't know why this happened. I'm assuming it has something to do with the fact that I purchased the Steven Universe vinyl LPs that I showed off on the stream like a month ago or whatever.
Yeah.
But surprise, you get an extra thing, and I almost feel like I'm in an ARG now or
Right,
something.
like
Like something
something-
really weird is going on.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's a thing.
That is a thing.
And I am going to hang it up at the office once I figure out how to iron it. I'm sure it's made of really cheap plastic
You'll
stuff.
just melt
so
it if you iron it.
I don't know how to get the wrinkles out.
Just hang it
But I'll
vertically and
think
spread
about
it with
it.
like
Yeah, maybe.
water.
Something like that.
What's that? A steamer?
Yeah, fabric.
Maybe it's a fabric steamer. Yeah.
But I'll work on it. So anyway, let's play some cards. We haven't played cards in a while.
What does the letter say?
It was like I should have brought it up. I
should've brought it
I have
forward.
to paraphrase it because I don't remember it exactly.
Not as
But it was sort of
satisfying.
like an introduction. It's like it was written from her in the present tense. Like, hello, I'm Rose Quartz.
Yeah.
I'm one of the crystal gems, but not one of the crystal gems that tried to destroy the planet. I'm here to protect you, or something like this. I don't terminology. It's really weird.
That is
right?
really weird. Huh.
Yeah, I don't.
Did you go to their website or anything?
I don't think so. I was very puzzled, and I was at work, so I was like, whatever. I'll get back to work.
Right.
Maybe there's more to it.
Right.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, I want to know. That's interesting. That is not a thing one expects.
No, totally. Oh, final thought. I'm sorry, I said that was final thought.
Yeah. But you lied.
I'm
That's
starting
fine.
to get the
Liar.
I'm starting to get the streams uploaded again.
Yeah.
I took a very unfortunately long break from that. I think the last stream I uploaded was from February, which is only 4 or 5 streams ago.
What the hell month is this?
It's April. It's late
Whoa,
April.
That's right. I had a birthday recently.
So that's up on YouTube now. That was the one where we had camera problems that I had to edit out. We also had a very entertaining final game in that one. So I recommend you guys go check that out. It was pretty awesome. And I edited around the camera stuff, I think, in kind of an entertaining way. So,
I like it.
So take a look. We're going to play this deck.
This deck that you have pointed to.
I'm really done talking now.
That's a bold claim. This deck is actually...
I will not say another word for the rest of the night.
This is a... that's going to make things difficult on me. This is
I'm going to read the cards.
Oh, God. Make things difficult on our audience, too. I expect you to utilize interpretive dance with purely your hands to convey the meaning of the cards.
I will totally do that.
Seems simple enough.
Where's my pen?
I was musing, while you looked at that pen, I was briefly going to one throwaway comment about God of War, which I think is interesting, which is many people do consider the second God of War by far the best in the series. And each God of War has had to my understanding, a different creative director until this one, which has the same creative director as the second one. That was just sort of a minor trivia bet that this guy's coming. I think his name is... I always say Balrog, and it's not Balrog, but his last name is close to Balrog. It's like Cory Barlog. I think it's Cory Barlog. And he was the creative director of God of War 2, and he came back for this one. And when I heard that, I'm like, okay, maybe I should get interested in this again. Because he definitely... things improved for the better in the second one.
Where's our go first dice? Here they are.
Yeah.
Roll up dice.
But,
I'm gonna roll it. I'm gonna roll the outer die. Here we go. Raw. I have one.
You have one.
I will go. Odds.
Odds it is. Very. I'm gonna assume there's not. I'm not gonna do a plot spoiler, but I'm assuming you're not gonna engage in God of War 1 or 2. That seems pretty likely. Is that true?
Probably. I mean, well, if this one's amazing, maybe I'll be like,
you'll think about it.
What's this guy's deal?
Well, I'll say this.
Who's this Kratos guy, huh? I know a lot of the plot of the games already. Like,
sure.
I haven't been avoiding spoilers at all.
So, the one thing I'll say, and this isn't really spoiler-oriented, because maybe I'm due to play through them again one of these days, but because they're not super long, one of the biggest disappointments in the original game is the first, 30 or 45 minutes is just this remarkable set piece regarding a battle against the Hydra on a ship. And the entire game only has 3 bosses in it, or 4. And
I'm going to keep these.
I'm going to ditch this hand. But one of the things that the second game did better is they quadrupled the boss count, so you get these epic spectacle fights.
That would have helped because that breaks up the brawler.
It does.
Mechanics a lot.
It does. Wow, this draw is really a draw.
I may discard 2 cards rather than pay Lois Lane's recruit cost. When Lois Lane comes into play, I may search my deck for an Earth 2 character card, or a card named Superman, reveal it and put it into my hand, and shuffle my deck.
That's Superman.
It is a Superman.
You get him back.
Okay. I revealed him. I revealed
You
him
did.
all over your side.
And what do you do to get him? Sorry, I know that you searched for him, but you just can
when
get
she
him?
comes into play, I get one. I get a
Lois.
Superman or an Earth 2 character with a version Earth 2,
That's a really good card. It's a really free search.
which is 1/1 with no powers
Search is
and terrible card art.
That's true. I do not have a 1-drop that I
Oh,
want to
and
play.
Lois Lane's gonna hit you for 1.
Just got slapped by Lois
She's
Lane.
so
I'm gonna
violent.
get some life dice. Maybe you should have some life dice. So, yeah, maybe the floor should have some life dice.
Yay! I have life dice.
Nope, that's just 1.
I have life die.
Wait, is that a paradox? Can you have life die?
That could be annoying. Should I do the annoying thing?
See the other white one in there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see it. It's in there. Ruffle it up. So I'm at 49 because Lois just hit me.
She sure did. I guess I get to wait to see what you do.
That's true. Oh, jeez. Alright, well.
Clearly that's a thing. What
So
is it?
you
I
went
guess I have to
odds
wait.
and did stuff. I have even. I do not have a 2-drop.
Oh,
which is not
no.
so good. I'm
Well,
not
what does
out
that
of it,
mean?
but the good news is you don't know what deck I'm playing. Boy, are you in for a surprise when I eventually play a
What
character
do I
one day.
do? I have options, and you didn't inform my decision, Kyle. That was not the deal.
Well, unfortunately, we both lose.
Yeah, that's gonna be more annoying. So I think I do that. I recruit both Lana Lang and Maggie Sawyer.
Oh boy. Not excited.
Maggie Sawyer's power is defenders adjacent to Maggie Sawyer have reinforcement, and Lana Lang's power is I may discard a Team Superman character card from my hand rather than pay a recruit cost. I may also exhaust a non-defending Team Superman character I control, and target defender I control has reinforcement this attack.
Well, joke's on you. I'm only going to take 3 damage from all this.
And then my team of DC women 1-drops is going to hit you for 3.
I don't think any of these characters have superpowers. Just
That is true.
normal DC humans are slapping me around. This is rude. You ladies are rude.
You don't get something going soon,
Oh
you're going
my
to be in
God.
trouble.
I'm in. I've got a card I can play, but this is not a spectacular start. We'll see where it goes. It is your initiative though, so you need to miss some drops, 2 or 3 drops, and I'll be right back. like if you haven't searched for a 4-drop, that would be great.
This. Well, you get a little reprieve because this is the turn I have to recruit Batman. Batman's power is I may activate him and discard a Gotham Knights character card to negate target effect from a non-ongoing plot twist. I may do that only during the combat phase.
Right.
I'm gonna form. No, that's fine.
Sure. I have Siren. Siren's a 3-drop, 5/4 with lightning range. Whenever Siren attacks a defender, exhaust target character adjacent to that defender. So that happened.
I will pass.
Right. Yeah, I guess I'll attack Maggie Sawyer. Doesn't really matter for 5.
Reinforcer. Curses. First blood.
Yes! I've dealt you 25% of the damage you have dealt me. So, I'm willing to concede. This draw is terrible.
All right.
But we can just reset and go again if
Sure,
you
sure, that's fine.
That's really, really bad.
Let's see what my next cards would have been. Wasn't going great over here.
I was going to miss 4 completely. Miss
Yeah,
1,
with that.
miss 2.
You might
and
notice
miss
that
4.
that's the plot twist. That's the non-character I drew.
Yeah, I had a different problem. I did have a couple of really high drop characters and nothing. A lot of nothing. So that was cool.
I didn't have a 5-drop yet.
Yeah. Me neither. Guys, you got to do better. Better than that. I selected you because I want to play you, not because I don't
Take
want
2.
to play you.
Boop.
Yeah, okay. Boop. Boop.
That's what you do, right?
You do boop. I feel like your boop was more of a...
I love the way you do boob. However,
yeah.
Let me straighten this out.
Let's just clear the air. I feel like your boop was more of a somebody touched my nose boop than a let's film a scene boop.
Well, maybe it should be. That's not. I said that so confidently, and yet,
and yet, boop. Ahem. I'm gonna cut.
What I
this
meant
deck.
by that was
Yeah.
maybe the sound that they make.
Yeah.
With it.
No.
But I skipped a bit in the middle.
Ahem. Yeah.
Should we roll up again?
Well, just go ahead. We'll act like you won the roll.
I'm gonna go odds.
Odds, I never would have guessed. I gotta ditch that hand. What is happening right now? This is your last chance, deck. You have to do things.
I think I'm gonna throw it, even though there's a thing in there that's really useful. I don't know. I actually don't know how this deck got rebalanced semi-recently, and I don't know how to when to discard my opening.
Sure. My deck is getting creative. I really needed to do things this game. I hope it decides to.
I'm going to do. Oh, that's tempting to that, but then I'd have to that. I don't know about that. Yeah, well, we'll do it that way. That's fine. It's fine. I'm going to recruit Lowest Lane when
Yeah.
Lowest Lane comes into play, etc., etc.
Etc. Then I get slapped by Lois.
Uh-oh. Are we doing a repeat performance?
I don't know. This one could be worse, but it still could be better.
Superman is the character I get. I think it's that one. Are you conceding again?
We've got one more turn to find out.
Okay. I'm
I
going
don't-
to do something different on turn 2 this time.
I do not understand
I
what's
think.
happening. I
I'd
don't
have to draw some
understand.
very specific cards not to, but it's possible. You sure you have characters in that deck, Kyle?
I'm beginning to wonder.
Soups is in my hand.
I've never seen two consecutive draws that are similar to these draws, so we'll see. I do not recruit a 2-draw.
Okay. I'm going to recruit Keelix.
Oh, which Keelix is that, Keelix?
When Keelix comes into play, I may discard 2 cards or a Team Superman character card. I will discard Superman. If I do, search my deck for a location card, reveal it, and put it into my hand, and shuffle my deck. The location card I get will be Cadmus Labs.
An excellent choice.
And then Lois Lane and Keelix are going to hit you for a combined total of 4.
That is going to worse than last. At least I'm getting hit by a robot.
What a strange statement.
Tell it like it is,
Literally
man.
no one has said that ever. At least I'm getting hit by a robot.
Oh, we're on fire tonight. It's good. It's a good night.
Oh my.
Well, and of course, the full thought is at least I'm getting hit by a robot and not 3 women.
Yeah. That's the prioritization, folks. If it was 2 women, where do you stack? So, robot is better than 3 women.
Thank you, dear. It is your initiative.
I'm going to be recruiting Batman this turn.
Batman this turn.
What did I put down?
Oh, Dios mio. Right. So I don't have a 3-drop.
That's impressive.
It's really impressive.
Well, I did not.
We're gonna
so
play
that
this
my,
one.
My support row can hit you, so I will just hit you with Batman. for
That'll
5.
show you. Dear.
Sorry.
It's only 5. It's only slightly worse than last game.
Do you have a 4 drop?
I have a 4-drop.
Okay.
Or I would have thrown in the towel. You're being a stupid deck.
Stupid deck.
Stupid deck.
What a deck.
What a deck. Like, I swear this is an S deck.
No.
So this is my initiative.
Yeah.
So in honor of the upcoming Deadpool film, I have Cable. Cable has, whenever Cable enters combat, target character has invulnerability this turn. Also, I forgot that he had Shift because this isn't a Shift deck and I should have shifted him a few turns ago. But that's
Yeah.
okay.
Would you
It's
be able to
Cable.
recruit something else this turn?
Some weenies, yeah.
Mm.
Because I just drew weenies.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Cool. I'm going to...
I can't believe I forgot he had shift. That is unfortunate. Well, let me say this. Since nothing else would have gone differently, would you mind if we...
No, sure.
So let's pretend I shifted Cable earlier, which for those who've forgotten is...
You don't need to explain. I don't know why you
for the
explain
audience.
shift every time.
Well,
there's literally no other
we read
ability
every
we
card.
re-explain.
I guess we don't re-explain flying every time. Fair enough. He has shift, and so I also can recruit 2 1-drops that I just drew. They're both hidden.
Oh no, it's Professor X. That's a bad 1-drop.
Yeah, it's Professor X and Pete Wisdom. So Professor X says, whenever an opponent plays a non-ongoing plot twist, return Professor X to his owner's hand. If you do, negate that plot twist's effect. Worth noting, it's not a may, I must do that, so you can choose the trigger power. Pete Wisdom says, target attacker or defender gets -3 defenses attack, but use only if I've played a plot twist this attack. Well, what does Batman have to do to negate my plot twist?
I have to
It's
activate
discard, right?
him, and I have to discard a Gotham Knights character card.
Okay. Sounds good.
So, what I do is...
I might get to do an absurd thing, and I don't even know it'll be good, but there's one card in this deck, by the way, I think I've never played, and I might finally play it this game. We'll see.
Huh, that's kind of interesting. There is an interesting interaction going on here, and that you can't possibly understand.
True. True. True.
So, I'm going to recruit Superman. Superman is cosmic, and his cosmic power is activate, remove target team Superman defender I control from this attack, and Superman becomes the defender of this attack.
Seems legit. Did I read Cable's power?
You started to, and then you said a bunch of things, and I'm not sure if you correctly finished or
Alright,
not.
it's whenever Cable enters combat, target character has invulnerability this turn.
Mm-hmm. I hope he picks Superman.
It's sure a temptation. Right.
So, next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play for the man who has everything. Search your deck for a Team Superman character card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. If it doesn't share a name with a character you control, discard a card.
Is that a non-ongoing plot twist?
It sure is.
Can I do anything? Hold on. I might be able to do something with him in response. Let me see. I'm going to flip up Captive Audience. Target character gets +1 attack this turn, and I'm going to choose Cable. Boost. Exhaust the character you control. If Captive Audience is in your resource row, turn it face down. And then it goes mine.
Oh, I didn't get to search.
I like that you didn't get to search. I will accept you not searching, even though that was your intention. You're way too calm. Way too calm. Razz it up.
Oh
Anger.
no, it's Cable and something.
Pete Wisdom.
Pete Wisdom.
Famous.
Man, that guy.
famous,
I totally have heard of him, and what I have heard is not good.
That's right. That's right. That's right. So it's my initiative, right?
It sure is.
It sure is.
Are you going to attack Superman?
I'm going to attack Superman.
Yeah.
Hell with it.
Let's see.
Oh, Cable has invulnerability this turn.
Surprise.
It's
That's
also still got +1 attack.
Totally unexpected. Yeah. So I think we're going to be stunned.
Yeah, that's true.
I will reinforce Superman.
That's also true.
I will take 4.
That is also true. But I take nothing yet.
I'm going to attack you for 3 with a robot.
3 to my face.
Who is not a woman.
That's true. I will take that 3 damage. Like so. It's putting me at 37. I mean, that's tempting. I will pass.
I will attack you for 5 with a Batman, who is also not a woman.
You're right. I'm at 32. I will pass again.
Very well.
I got my cable back. That's terrible.
beautiful and wonderful.
Excellent. Still not gonna get to play this card. One day I'll play.
So, I don't know if you know this, but I have Cadmus Labs.
What?
I may activate it, and character cards named Superman are not unique this turn.
For real. Real, y'all.
Then I will be recruiting Superman. Superman has invulnerability during my first attack and defense each turn.
Okay. Alright. And like all Supermen, he does have flight and range. I've got Hepzibah. Hepzibah is concealed optional. I will make her visible. Whenever a non-ongoing plot twist is played while Hepzibah is in combat, you may remove her from this attack. If you do, and she was attacking, ready her.
Interesting. She's hard to get.
Yep.
That's clever.
Clever Hepzibah. Clever skunk lady.
Skunk lady?
Yeah, she's a skunk.
She's a skunk?
She's kind of a skunk. She's like a skunk elf.
She's a skunk?
A skunk elf. Maybe she's supposed to be more of a cat creature? I don't know.
She's furry.
I
She has
have-
long hair, like long fur.
Yeah, like a skunk.
What? What skunk has long fur?
They're all long and fluffy.
All right.
That's what she
Putting
said.
putting that aside for the moment, I'm not sure how to deal with Hepzibah. That's fascinating. I've got options.
You should attack her.
Yeah, that's an option.
It's a great option.
If I'm gonna play.
Jalapenos.
Where is my card? Where is it?
I'm gonna play Where's My Card? That's a fun game. Man, I
There
hope
it is.
people are watching
There it
tonight.
is.
We're having a ball.
At their finest. Play only if.
If only.
You've played no other plot twists this turn. Characters I control named Batman or Superman get +2/+2 this turn.
Sure wish I had my Professor X.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
Nope, you sure don't.
Sure
Then I will declare
Yeah.
that Superman, the 4-drop
The
Superman,
4-drop.
is going to attack Hepzibah.
What?
Then
Madness. What
Is
are you
that
doing?
right?
You're still doing stuff. What are you doing? Why are
Let
you
me
still
think.
doing
I
stuff?
might change
I
my
don't
mind about that a
understand.
little bit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Cable.
Cable?
Yeah, it's gonna be Cable. Then
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play. Oh no, it's Hepzibah.
It's Hepzibah?
Yeah.
What do you do? Why would you attack innocent Hepzibah? I don't like it.
Then I'm going to play Solar Powered.
Okay.
Target attacker named Superman I
Solar.
control gets +2/+2 attack, +2/+2 this attack.
Yeah.
If that character has Cosmic, put a Cosmic counter on it.
Oh my word. So you're
I
+4
dare
+4.
you to remove her from combat.
You can play that while you're in combat. So, let's review for the sake of our own sanity. What would happen if I made that choice?
Oh yeah. Well, I guess you could remove her from combat while it's on this chain. That's interesting.
Well, you would still get the counter. She does not negate effects. You would resolve against a non-defender, and I would steal initiative, but you get to keep your counter. Is the way I would interpret that. You get to, so that that one's for the turn,
Turn.
and that's for the attack.
Yes.
So, and you may rethink it based upon this brief analysis, but my analysis is that if I choose to remove Hepzibah from combat, which I could do because you must play that one during the attack, you would ready and the initiative would pass based upon a rule set. Does that seem like a reasonable interpretation? Or would you interpret that?
Yes.
And you would still get the counter.
Yes. I'm not sure about the counter. That's the part that's
I think
a little
you
fuzzy.
get that.
But yes, I agree with everything else you said for sure.
Oh, I see what you're saying because it changed.
if you-
Read Solar Powered again.
Target attacker
Yeah.
named Superman you control gets +2/+2 this attack. If that character has a Cosmic, if that character has cosmic, put a cosmic counter on it. So you can prevent me from being an attacker before this resolves, and I believe there's another chapter for target validity.
You're okay, and I'm going to tell you why. You get the counter because you are still an attacker until the attack resolves. The reason I steal initiative is because your attack resolves against a lack of defender, which is why you're ready.
Okay, I get it. I agree. Okay, I'm on board. Let's do this.
Cool.
Are you removing I mean, you don't have to remove
I know, but now we have all the facts in
hypothetical.
evidence. Yes, we have all the facts in evidence. So I need to look at my hand. Now, you also have a negation power, but it does come at a discard cost. So I have to consider if I feel that is acceptable. And I have mixed feelings about that. Some mixed feelings. I guess, and the odds are pretty high that if I attack you, you would make me attack 4-drop Superman, because what your subsequent good play is to have your 5-drop Superman pummel my 4-drop Cable. And I can't stop that. It might be the end of that sentence. I can't stop that if I negate the attack. Not ecstatic about that outcome. Maybe that is the right choice. Oh, interesting. Maybe that's the right choice.
Hearing a lot of right choices over there, but no action.
That's true. Yeah, I think I currently will not negate the attack based upon... No, is that true? I do negate the attack. I'll negate the attack so you're resolved and ready. Because what I need to do is attack your 4-drop Superman with my 4-drop Cable.
Okay.
So to do that, I will accept the negation of the attack.
My 4-drop Superman is bigger than your 4-drop.
I am aware.
Okay. You have to play something to remove her from the attack.
Well, you have played a plot twist.
Oh, this triggers her... Oh,
which
that's
was
clever.
the purpose.
Okay,
Oh, I
got
see.
it,
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought...
Yeah, it is when a
I
non-ongoing plot twist is played. So I will negate the attack based upon your playing of that plot twist. But
so
you get to ready
ready
and keep the counter.
Yes.
And then the attack I must make is I must use Cable to swing at Superman and hope I can make this work.
Okay.
So when he enters combat, I get to make someone invulnerable for the turn. Do I think there should be Hepzibah? You're probably going to get Hepzibah. There's probably nothing I can do about that.
Well, you can almost perpetually prevent me from getting Hepzibah.
Well, so if nothing changes and you just use 5-drop Superman to attack Hepzibah,
Oh, yeah, I guess I was ready if you remove her as a defender.
right. And yeah, because it's only if you remove the attacker that your character wouldn't, the attacker wouldn't ready. So if you just attack, so here's the thing: if you attack straight up with 5-drop, you're ahead of me. So even though I could remove her, it would cost me a plot twist to do that.
Correct.
And you could just do the push without the need to play a plot twist, unlike was the case with 4-drop. So, yeah, Cable's going to attack Superman. So now it's a question of what do I do, knowing that you might have a negation. So the negation is discard a card. You also have to activate?
Yes.
Okay. So you need to
I know
discard
precisely
Gotham
what you
Knights.
do.
What's that?
Use the vicious, noteworthy Pete Wisdom?
Oh, yeah, Pete Wisdom. Pete Wisdom. Well, he's on the board, and he's a really important
The
part
memorable,
of this.
the unforgettable... What's his name?
Yeah.
He's -3 defense, right? Or something like that.
Yeah, he's pretty strong, but I have to play a plot twist to do it.
Oh, I see.
So I think the correct play is I'm going to discard, play from my hand, the best at what they do. Play only from your hand. Target character gets -2 defense this attack or -4 defense if I control an X-Force character, and I will target Superman with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's -4 defense for an attack.
Sure.
And right now, I am not triggering Pete Wisdom.
Okay. I will reinforce Superman, and it looks like we'll be stunned.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did target Hepzibah with
I
the
accept.
invulnerability, so I will take the 4. Which, according to my path, puts me at 28. I do wish I had more life than I have.
I do. I try to hit Hepzibah.
Sure.
I am no longer invulnerable.
That's true. Oh, that's interesting. That is true. I had not considered that.
But I am an 11/11.
That's also true. So I'm going to play Captive Audience.
What?
Target character gets +1 attack this turn, and I'm going to choose Hepzibah. A boost, exhaust a character you control. If Captive Audience is in your resource row, turn it face down. It will then reduce your defense by 3 with Pete Wisdom. So you are -3 defense, and I am +1 attack.
I accept.
Okay, so I do take 2
Stunned.
breakthrough, but nothing for the stun because I was invulnerable.
I will take 5. I will then attack with Batman, who is still not a woman.
That's true. Boy, I have to face a very odd decision right now. How many cards are in your hand?
There are 3. 3 cards are in my hand.
When you declare your attack, I am going to play X-Force Reborn. Recover target stunned X-Force character you control, lose endurance equal to twice its cost. I will choose Cable. Do you negate it?
Give me a moment.
Yes.
That sure is a good one to negate, although twice his endurance is not cheap.
Nope. I don't love that.
So what does that do? That would invalidate the attack.
Yes. Cable would be exhausted, of course.
You would get to keep Cable and Hepzibah. I would keep only one of my 2 characters, and you would lose 8 life, which is the less than the cost of the attack.
That's true, but it's a board advantage, theoretically.
I am going to negate it. I have another Batman, whom I
So-
will discard by activating Batman, who is not active from being in an attack yet, even though it kind of looks like he is.
So the consequence of that is I do not get to recover Cable,
Correct.
but you do not attack me for
I'm not
5.
actually attacking you.
Right. Let me see if there's anything else that I want to do.
I believe initiative passes.
That
Is that true? I declared an attack that got invalidated.
Yeah, it was invalidated before it began, so the initiative is still yours.
Okay, I will pass.
I believe I'm going to pass as well. I'm just looking to see if there's any fancy shenanigans I can do. I don't think so. I think I just am going to lose Cable.
I may play Brains and Brawn only if I control Batman and Superman.
Oh my.
Recover target stunned character you
Ugh.
control named Batman or Superman.
Oh, so good. So good. I was afraid of that. I remembered you having some sort of recovery in that deck. I was hoping it had a cost.
It does. I have to
Yeah.
have Batman and Superman.
Yeah.
It's not as easy as you think.
Yeah. Boy, I got my work cut out
I
for me
choose
now.
not to have a good turn 3 in order to have Batman and Superman so I can do some of my stuff.
Yep. Boy, that is unfortunate. Okay. That's interesting. So it is my initiative. That's going to be really important. What do I want to do here? We're going to do this. And we're going to do this. So I've got Roberto da Costa, Sunspot. He does have flight and range.
Why did you say him so southern? Roberto?
Roberto da Costa,
Roberto.
Sunspout. Whenever he defends, the attacking player loses endurance equal to the combined cost of all attackers.
Wow. Ow. What? Does he have bad stats? He better. He doesn't.
He doesn't.
Of course he doesn't.
Don't attack him.
What a jerk.
Don't attack him. He's fine.
Cool. I've got Superman,
Yeah.
who's cosmic.
Oh, man. Couldn't get you to miss a drop either. This is unfortunate.
This cosmic Superman's power is... His cosmic power is, while Superman is protecting a defender, that defender has reinforcement and invulnerability. He has a non-cosmic power that is, I may pay 2 endurance to move him.
Right. Yeah. Boy, how do I go about this? How do I go about this? Oh, I did exhaust someone from captive audience, so that is face down. Should have done it immediately and forgot. This is a thing. I've got to attack 6-drop Superman with Hepzibah.
She's not big enough to take on 6-drop Superman. Unless you use Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes. I do have another, the best at what they do, to give you -4 in defense. When played from my hand, only from my hand. So, as of this particular moment, you are an 8 defense.
Yeah.
Get him, Hepzibah.
I have to do stupid things. I think they're the right things, but they're stupid.
Well, I gotta make you do them.
Cool. Let's see. Well, I could do it that way, but that's not. And then the thing.
True.
God, why are his stats so good? That's so dumb that he has a good power and good stats.
Hey, he's a 6-drop. He's fantastic.
Yeah, that works.
Do you reinforce?
Of course. Even though it's only one break.
Yeah, why not?
Lois Lane is not doing it.
She done slapping me. I do take 5.
I take 6.
This is the point where you team attack Roberto with everyone.
I must. Not everyone. No, just Superman and Superman.
Okay. That's smarter than everyone.
All of the Supermans.
All right, so you will take 9 damage when you attack.
Just declaring the attack.
Yeah.
I hope you can't remove him from the deck. That would be brutal.
Yeah. No. Don't think I'm going to be that amazing.
That'd be a heck of a combo.
Right, so I have the decision then about where I deal the damage, whether or not I deal the damage.
Well, my 5-drop is invulnerable.
I know.
So
I don't like that, but he's also bigger.
I see what you're getting at.
Yeah. I don't think Pete Wisdom's going to do much this turn. That's unfortunate.
You could stun Lois Lane.
That's true.
He's more useful than...
Yeah, his power's real good. That would be funny. Boy, this is a really tough decision. Do I take the larger character off the board, or the smaller character and deal you an extra 4 points of damage? I might really need that damage. If you've got another recovery, though, I'm in a lot of hurt. I think I have to... That sucks. I gotta take the 5-drop off the board. 15. Boy, I wish I had a cool trick right about now.
Well, that was my attack. What is yours?
I just gotta pass.
I declare that Batman attacks you directly.
Indeed. It'll work this time.
Yes, I'm really glad you don't have another one of those. Now, I would be in a real world of hurt if you
Yeah,
hadn't recovered
to
that.
be fair, the cost would be pretty high for it. It would be like 10 life. I do lose Hepzibah.
I'm keeping the 6-drop. Now, as a reminder,
Yes.
he no longer gives people invulnerability and reinforcement, but I can still pay life to move.
Right. It sure is going to be your initiative. I wish that were not a true thing. But it's a true thing. I said musically.
I've never been able to wreck shop with this, and I always wanted to.
Man, I couldn't... How? You were
Whenever
so
a front
short
row
on cards.
defender an opponent controls becomes stunned, KO it.
Man.
Importantly, it does not specify how it becomes stunned.
That's scary. Why would you say that?
Well, I just mean like it's not like when Superman stuns the front. It's like
right.
whenever it happens.
Well, I do have James Proudstar.
Well, that's a big dude.
He's real good, but I gotta put him in my front row. So James Proudstar has the amazing power. Whenever you play a plot twist while James Proudstar is in combat, put 2 1/1 counters on target character you control.
Oh God.
Worth noting,
Oh,
he must
God.
be in the combat for that to trigger. You should deck James Proudstar.
I may have to, and that's
may.
awful.
It's real bad.
Oh God. 2 counters per.
They
plot
both
twist.
must go on the same character, however.
How the hell many plot twists could you have? Quite a few.
This whole game, you know how this deck does. It's save them all for James Proudstar if you can. And you know for a fact I have at least one. You team attack him. I probably wouldn't be able to stop that.
I have to team attack him.
And get the
it's
KO.
It's not as solid as you might think because I have to team attack him like this.
Oh, interesting. I feel like you're gambling a little by not including that 7-drop.
I cannot.
Oh.
7-drop is not a Team Superman character.
Infridge. I had not foreseen that. Interesting.
He is a character named Superman.
And you're
though.
also not teamed up with Batman.
That's correct.
Huh. Well, all I need is 20, huh?
21 technically, so 3 plot twists will do you.
21.
That's not very difficult to come by.
Where's the extra one coming from?
My attack is 20.
Oh,
So you would
I
need
need to reach
21.
21.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What were you asking? Maybe I misunderstood.
No, I worded that in a way where your answer was correct. All right.
And you have to play the plot twists, not this Hepzibah sneaky bullshit.
Right.
Pardon my French.
Right.
Skunk.
The problem
lady, or
is.
whatever.
The problem is.
Yes. What is the problem?
If you stun him, you KO him.
Yeah, that's true.
And that is a problem.
Is it?
Well, I'm not ecstatic about it.
Do you think either of us is getting the next turn? It's possible. It doesn't seem likely.
Well,
You've 10 life, sir.
that does mean... So, alright. We'll start with this assessment. If you can get to Pete Wisdom, you got me pretty clean.
Sure.
You could even just chuck Batman at him and finish me after Proudstar is stunned for 7. Just throw him right... It's right there. Pete Wisdom defeated by Batman taking a nap on him.
Well, that makes sense, because Pete Wisdom is a Batman villain?
Sure.
No, you're playing Marble, guys. I don't know who Pete Wisdom is.
That's true. I am playing Marble. I have no idea who Pete Wisdom is. His flavor text, however, says, "Oh, bollocks."
That's the kind of sound you make when you get struck by Batman.
When Batman jumps at you. So I may have to do some odd things. Because I only see one way out of this mess. And I don't know exactly what else you're going to... what other sneaky shenanigans you're going to do. So I have to go ham and throw all my eggs in one basket, as is the nature of James Proudstar.
Yeah, right, of course.
And hope that that is enough to
Oh,
get
I
you.
see. Like, you're lamenting that if you put the counters on James Proudstar and I succeed, the counters are for naught.
Right, precisely. And then
Gotcha.
I'm SOL.
Gotcha.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this here captive audience.
Of course.
To give a character +1 attack.
Mm-hmm.
I'm then going to exhaust
You're gonna do that
James
with your whole
Proudstar
team?
to flip it. I'm just gonna take this die, and this will measure the number of plot twists I play.
Okay.
Then I will target Roberto da Costa with the one attack.
Okay. Gotcha.
Then
Again.
I'm going to do it again and exhaust Pete Wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So we are up to 2.
Yeah, this is gonna be so close. I'm probably not gonna get it. You have 3 on the board, just because you have.
I can
characters.
flip that again.
You have
yeah.
4, right? You can play that card 4 times this turn.
That's true.
I'm in trouble.
Well, yeah. So, I'm gonna flip it again. I'm not sure I want to exhaust Roberto da Costa.
Okay, so you're gonna leave it up.
I may leave it up,
Okay.
but that does get me a 3rd charge.
You need to choose now.
Right.
So you're.
I need to
confident.
not do an additional play until I make that decision final. So all of those are targeting Costa, so he has 15 attack right now.
Sure.
Your attack is 20. If I do nothing else,
You would be ahead of me by 1. If they all go on Proudstar.
if they all go on Proudstar. I have to put all my eggs in one basket. Oh man, if you've got that thing, is that in that deck?
I have no idea what that thing is.
If I say it aloud, it'll jinx it, and suddenly it'll appear in your hand. Oh man.
No match for Darkseid? Yes. That is in my Superman.
Why would that ruin me? I gotta read this card.
Now, your other strategy is to milk as many counters out of Proudstar while you have him.
Put him on Costa and attack 7-drop Superman. That's the other thing I've been pondering. I'm real torn on that.
You might be able to kill me.
You
If you
can.
do
Oh,
it
you
enough.
can't reinforce. That's true. That might have to be the strategy. That's actually what I've been thinking I would do, which is why I didn't put the counters directly on Proudstar. So just try and swing through Superman. I don't think I can kill you. You soak 7 off the cuff. I haven't run the math. Maybe.
I mean, all right. Let's be careful here.
Yeah.
You need to choose where the counters are going per effect, right?
Technically, that's correct. Yeah.
So
I can't know the outcome of the combat and then make the decision, for example.
right. So I think you should, at this point, while you're also deciding
Sure.
to resolve that, pick where your counters
Sure.
are going, and then subsequently.
I
continue.
have been the whole way, for what it's worth. Like,
You
one
haven't
way
been
or another.
stating them.
That's true. That's true. Everything that has just happened has been foregone regardless of where the counters go. Because reaching the point where I can potentially force you to do something by putting counters on Proudstar or dumping them all on Costa, not forcing you to do something is sort of the decision point. This is that threshold.
Okay.
Which is why I've not played additional things.
Sure.
It's less about this and more about now's the
I'm
time.
just saying, like,
to
I think
show you.
it's cleaner to be explicit.
Sure. So yeah, where are the counters going? I think I have to put them all on Costa. I think that is the correct play.
I'm gonna get a cheap stun here. That's interesting.
Yeah, and I
end KO.
right because
then maybe die.
right. I don't love this, but this gives me a shot at the victory. So let's assume that they're going here. So right now you don't have to play anything. So what that means is anything else I do,
it's not valueless.
yeah,
Because it's your last shot at
right.
card
And
stuff.
before we lose Jimmy Boy,
Good old Jimmy boy.
Jimmy Boy and Roberto. I think that's it. I think I leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, you're going for my 6-drop. That's obvious.
That is correct. So I do take 7. He's KO'd, and I take the 7.
I will take 6. Which
He's
puts
immediately
me at
KO'd. Okay.
16. 16 is the number you need.
I might have
You're
it.
pretty close.
I might have it.
Pretty
So
close.
the way this
If you get
works,
9 breakthrough.
yeah, I'm just gonna clean swing. So I am +3 attack from the captive audiences.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
my attack is 21. Is that
Sure.
9 breakthrough?
No. It's 7. But Pete Wisdom's exhausted.
He's exhausted because I had to use him to get the captive audiences. I might not have it. You may also not have it. So I would deal you. Well, oh, you're at 16. Son of a gun. You're not getting the counter stun at the moment.
That's true.
How much more do I need?
2. Only 2.
Only 2. Is assuming you have no power-ups. You have
Sure.
how many
sure.
cards in your hand?
I have at least one. I don't know if I read it, but I can replace Cadmus Labs to power up a character named Superman. It's important for you to know.
2, yeah. And he is a Superman. That's a Superman.
He is Superman, yes. Do you only have 3 life? Oh man, this is an interesting end to this game.
Yeah.
If you do nothing else, I will go to 2, which is not a terrible
Right.
situation,
Right.
honestly. I think it's a really close next turn, which is your initiative.
It is my initiative.
Not a fan of that,
Oh my gosh.
but you might be if you can find it, you might be able to finish me.
There's a long shot gamble. So now I have to decide if I play for next turn. Initiative is huge,
It is pretty huge.
but you are looking at a decent character advantage. Now if I get 7-drop, maybe you've got another recovery. If you've got another recovery, that's going to make things real hard on me.
Well, I mean, not to tip my hand, it's going to be very hard for me to stop this stun.
Right. That's right.
Considering we're determining whether you have 7 breakthrough or 9 breakthrough.
So I have to play this card now. And I know you can stop it, but I have to force you to stop it. This is Rapid Strike. Target defender gets -2 defenseless attack. Then if it has 0 defense, stuff.
Okay.
I'm just using it for the -2 defense, so I'm now forcing you to power up or die.
And I will power up.
You've got a legit power up. Alright, fair enough. Fair enough. That might be all I got.
Let me review my cards.
Yep.
That is the resolution of the attack.
Yep. You go to 2.
I go to 1.
You go to 1. You go to 1. Ah! Yeah, I gotta do it this way. This is the way.
I don't think I can keep my 7-drop.
Oh, interesting. The 6-drop is mobile, but he's a vulnerability. That's weird. You KO
If you
James
didn't put
Proudstar with
6
him.
counters on
Yeah,
the friggin'
yeah,
6-drop,
yeah.
I could.
Yep.
But boy, that's a big 6-drop.
Yep. And it's a big 6-drop. I'm gonna draw this card,
I need some lucky top deck in here.
and then this card.
That is not one of the cards I need, although that might help me a little.
I've got a shot. I got a shot. We're neck and neck. So I have Professor X.
Oh, no. That's a bad thing for you to have right now.
And a James Proudstar, whom I did not use for a power-up because I decided to give up my other James Proudstar.
I think you've got me.
That's what I got.
Don't know. What can I do? What?
Roberto da Costa with 6 counters is obnoxious. Even more so than Roberto da Costa without 6 counters. So it's. I'll tell you what worried me. I'll tell you the thing that worried me. Because it doesn't matter right now. The thing that worried me is I can't remember if that deck had... I think it's just called Heat Vision. Which is like remove someone from the game and ping for 3. Because if you'd had that, you could have interrupted the KO effect. Because the stun still happens. And killed me.
You are not thinking of this right card. I don't know what. I don't even know what card you're thinking of.
I'm thinking of exhaust to KO something and ping for 3. It's specifically
I
ping
have
for 3.
no card that's like that.
What the heck card is that?
I don't know. It's an interesting card though.
I'm sure that's a real card.
Not in any of my decks though. And
What's the one?
Not that I can recall from any of my sets either. So it might
Maybe
be
it's
something you have.
Yeah, maybe.
There is a card called Heat Vision.
What is
That's
it?
in my League of Assassins deck, and that's Exhaust the Defender. Oh, it's Exhaust the Defender to give the Defender +3 attack, and then if the attacker is stunned, it pings.
Then ping for 3.
Yeah.
Ha! Okay. But
So there's nothing to do with
I don't know why
KO.
I'm relieved
Yeah.
now.
Oh, thank God, an imaginary card is in it. I don't think this gets me there. It's not easy to deal with.
Yeah.
But it doesn't get me there.
You do have another... how many of them did you... Did I not get rid of 1 million of him already?
I don't know.
Alright. Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
Which means your first attack is versus Superman. Now, the problem is...
Yeah, this is interesting.
That still kills me. But it leaves me with a pair of attackers, but that might not matter.
Right. It's very strange. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm pretty sure there's no way I can make that matter.
I don't know how this goes. I don't know. This is kind of weird. It's weird because Proudstar doesn't have flight or range. I guess no matter who he attacks, you're going to make me attack Superman. It seems pretty likely. Is there value in you protecting 4-drop Superman? Maybe not. And forcing me to hit someone that you redirect? I guess not. I guess there's probably not.
Little. So here's the thing. Like, the only way that this even matters is if I can get you to attack with... Like, I need to soak the DaCosta attack with Superman. Because I can't attack DaCosta. And even if I do attack Proudstar, that only nets me 1.
Right.
So there's literally no out for me because you have 2 life more than I do.
Right.
So, but it's still my best play. That's my only play.
Sure.
And
all right. So then we can play it out.
maybe I do something crazy.
It's too crazy. What are you doing? That's too crazy.
That doesn't get me. It doesn't get me anywhere.
Like forcing me to. I think you can reinforce Kleenex. Yeah. I don't know.
Let me look at my cards again.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
I don't. I think I've got nothing.
Okay.
Because just attacking DaCosta way the frick kills me.
Pings you back. Yeah.
So I can't attack him. So my only option is to attack Proudstar, and he's very large.
Yeah, you're, like you said, you really only get a net gain of 2, and I have the potential, assuming I have other additional plot
And
twists,
I
to give him
can't
an
do
extra
it with
counter, so-
anybody but... I must include my 6-drop, which is the problem.
Which is the one I'm likely to attack. Which, yeah, you'll redirect, so I suppose you'll have him. But that only gets you the net gain of 1.
Well, all right, we're gonna do this.
Sure.
I know it's
Yeah,
insane.
See what happens. For
It's
sure.
insane. That's my formation.
Sure. I mean, I still have to open with Proudstar, of course. and it has to be against 6-drop. So we'll start with that. Let me see if there's any plot twists I play before you redirect. There may not be. I mean, you're going to just reinforce, so there's not a huge value. There's not a huge value. I guess I'm going to play... I'll play a captive audience to give James Proudstar one attack. No, to give Roberto one attack, and then I'll flip it down. And then it gives me 2 more counters to do something with. And I guess I probably put him on Proudstar now, before the redirect at this stage, just to sort of explicitly force that.
So big.
It's interesting. Costa was a sort of a late add to the deck.
18 defense for Costa and 17 for Proudstar. Am I reading that correctly?
He's a 19 for Costa.
19 for Costa.
He's a 19-19 when you count the captive audience effect. Or did I? Yeah. I don't know if I've actually gotten that combo before getting them both out. I usually don't get him. He's the less common character to get.
So what can I mean? Obviously, I'm losing this game. What can I do? What? Anything can I do?
Well, you know, I don't know what you're sitting with at your disposal.
I can try to hit Proudstar, and that's the best play I got.
Yeah, if you get Proudstar with a bunch of smaller characters, you can force me...
Which means...
under.
Wait.
But it's... Yeah, if you can't get to my hidden dudes, which seems likely, or you probably would have done it earlier. Maybe I took a risk by throwing the extra captive audience in there.
Well, all right. I will redirect Superman, and I will reinforce Superman.
Yep.
And I will take 4. I'm at -3.
Yep.
Then I team attack Proudstar.
So I'm going to Devil's Advocate, which is even though you get pinged if you attack DaCosta, I can't put further counters on him because Proudstar's not in combat. And unless you know something I don't, Costa deals so much damage swinging through that the net gain might actually be to take the ping and just hit Proudstar with, or pardon me, hit Roberto with your 6 and your 4. Yeah, and you get the ping, but if I attack you for 18 with him, it's a pretty big hit. I mean, if you've got a free reinforce in your hand or something, maybe that's not as much an argument. But otherwise, I'm swinging through on 6-drop.
Well, I mean, then there's nothing interesting about that. So
that's fair.
Then we'll just scoop.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, it's funny. I felt like that whole game. I think that was an interesting game.
I was going to see if I could stun Proudstar with Keelix and 4-drop.
Oh yeah.
That was interesting, and I probably couldn't, but I almost could. So.
I mean, I could. I had one more. I had a captive audience I could chuck out there, so you were accounting for that. Did I have anything else I could do? Didn't have another power up.
The cost is brutal.
Well, when you throw 6 counters on him, he's a nightmare. Like,
well, I mean, he's got, usually a 6-drop that has good stats does not have the 13. They usually are 12/12.
12/12.
Or
Yeah.
good,
He
a
does
good
have
power.
one extra
I'm sorry.
defense point.
Usually a 6-drop with a good power
Yep.
has 12/12.
Yep.
So you got an extra defense.
He does have an
Man,
extra
that
defense.
power is a heck of a power.
Well, what's interesting about that, and I have played him in past games
No,
to
yeah,
not
totally.
to great consequence, but what happened here was an interesting situation where I usually like to play this deck.
I missed a lot of my plot. Like I wasn't
sure.
playing any of my plot twists.
Sure. I like to play that deck odds because I like to lead on 7 with Proudstar because it gives me a lot of leverage. But playing evens makes Costa a nightmare because I control the turn 6 play, so I can force you into a team attack position against him.
Right.
And I had not, because I normally play odds, and at least historically to my memory, I've gotten, whatever, I've won the roll or we've made decisions where I usually get to play odds with that deck. This circumstance was different, because usually when I play DaCosta, if you have initiative, you just hit him with your on curve, and it's annoying, but it's not like, it's like a Batman annoying. It's like 9/9 Batman who gets to stun and get stuff. And so I didn't realize how horrifying he was. But in this game, he was horrifying, and I can't debate that. This is an AA. But that whole game I actually felt was pretty close. I did not feel that DaCosta alone was the sort of the point of the tide turning. There's certainly a critical factor, but when I started to feel confidence was ironically when I specifically remembered that your 7-drop was not of the standard team affiliation.
I remembered, you mean I pointed it out.
That is correct because you are an honest fellow. But I always forget that.
I didn't,
and it's
I
really
didn't state it. Ever.
Well, sure.
No, but that deck, it relies on that +2/+2 plot twist
Right.
to sort of overcome the fact that I'm sometimes running with characters that can't team
Right.
attack or reinforce.
Right.
And mostly that's Batman and
Sure,
Superman.
yeah.
They're not teamed up, so I can't do the team attack with them. But
Yeah.
when I recruit that 7-drop, he is also not a team Superman.
Well, and to be honest, you might have had me if I didn't have a second James Proudstar.
And like if I had recruited, if I
Or
top deck
had the 8-drop.
a 6-drop or a 7-drop or an 8-drop,
Yeah,
I
you
would
might
have
have
been in
still
good
had-
shape.
yeah.
Or a useful plot. Like
Right.
there's some plot
some
twists
plot
that would
twists
have
that might have
definitely
done it.
turned the tide there.
Yeah. It was close right up until that last turn, but I was feeling like you actually had an advantage until we mutually recognized the team affiliation as 7-drop. And then I'm like, okay, I got a real shot at this. And then and then on that turn I'm like, if I just stack everything on DaCosta, that's going to be real awful, and I think we'll see next turn and DaCosta will be awful all over again. And it was interesting. It was an interesting.
I enjoyed that game. Like it wasn't a bad.
Yeah. It was interesting.
I'm playing my stealth cards. Should I keep these? They're not bad.
I will go
Maybe not.
outer die. We have tied. That doesn't happen very often, I feel. I will go the outer die.
You have one.
I have one.
I'm glad I threw that away because it wouldn't have gotten better, and that's an awful long time for it not to have gotten better.
Right. So I gotta think about this. I feel like I haven't played this deck in a little while, and I certainly haven't played it and also remembered what they like to go. They can get away with either.
Stop stalling.
It's all part of my master plan to disrupt your train of thought. I guess I can go. We'll go odds. We'll go odds. It's tough. It's you'll
so belabored.
you'll have a sense of it.
Y'all.
Y'all. I, however, will not play a 1-drop.
Nah, that's not something you want to do.
I was all ready to lose life. I'm like, life dice. Wait a minute, you didn't also have you? Well, that's a thing.
What a strange combination of things are in my hand.
True. It is your initiative. I'm glad about that.
It would be premature.
True.
Boy, I wish you had initiative.
I'm real glad I don't. I want you to know that. Real glad. I could do something pretty hilarious on my turn, and I might.
Let me read this card before I flip it.
Oh my, yeah, be sure.
Discard any number of character cards from your hand.
What?
Search your deck for a Darkseid's Elite or New Gods character with a cost less than or equal to the total cost of the cards you discarded this way.
What?
Reveal that card and put it into your hand. Shuffle your deck.
Oh man.
I'm going to recruit Malice Wunderbar. I just search for a 2-drop.
By discarding a 3-drop. How novel. What does Malice do again?
Malice Wunderbar's power is whenever another character comes into play on my under my control, I may replace target non-team-up plot twist that opponent controls.
Interesting. Oh. Interesting. That's interesting.
If you could pick a word,
It's definitely going to be interesting.
I recruit Malice Wunderbar. Oh, yeah, you can get I guess.
So,
Search for a 2-drop.
I may do some novel things. I think I might do some novel things.
What was this?
This is really weird. I'm going to recruit Madame Xanadu. Madame Xanadu is a 1/1, a 1-cost character that I may activate. If Madame Xanadu is in play, search your deck for a magic plot twist card, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. Put Madame Xanadu on top of your deck.
Are you going to do that?
Not yet.
Are you going to do that when I attack her?
Maybe.
I attack her.
Clever. Boy, I really want to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm doing the thing.
And afterwards, I'll attack you.
Yeah, that's
And I'm going to
reasonable.
proceed if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
that's acceptable.
Boy, those things could be a pain in the butt.
I'm going to search for
This is a
Conjuration.
very strange combination of things in my hand.
I agree. Would you like me to remind you what Conjuration is?
Yes, you should read every card.
Well, it's not played. It's just put in my hand. We sometimes don't
Well, I
read
don't
the
know what
ones we search
Conjuration
for. You do know what
I
Conjuration?
do not.
Conjuration I can only play during the recruit step. I can pay 15 endurance to gain a resource point.
Oh dear. Not a fan. Not a fan.
And then she goes. You may, you may cut, and then she goes on top of my deck, I guess. Alright.
Wonder when that'll happen. Not soon, I hope, but not later either.
It's going to be very weird. I'm still trying to decide what madness I'm going to do. I'm going to draw Madame Xanadu and then another card.
Okay.
And I take a damage because you attacked me.
I take a damage.
I take a damage. Pardon me, I also put a counter on Oblivion Bar. For those wondering, Oblivion Bar is I can activate and pay 3 endurance to put a counter on it. A power counter. Also, I can activate it and remove a counter from it to gain 5 life. So I pay an additional 3 to do that.
It's a location.
It is a location. That's very important. And then I've already drawn. So crazy. I want to do that.
You might be angry this game.
I might. I know. I know what you're up to. You person. And she replaces stuff.
She replaces non-ongoing plot twists in your research room.
Right. And that's what she does. I'm going to flip up. If I flip up, you could replace.
It's true.
Whenever you recruit someone,
I could replace with something useful. And I can't target ongoing.
yeah.
And I can't target team-ups.
I'm gonna play Zatanna. Zatanna is a 4/5. Whenever I play a magic plot twist card, I may pay 3 endurance, and if I do, draw a card.
Whenever Guillotina causes breakthrough to a player, that player loses an additional 1 endurance for each face-down resource he controls.
Yes. Interesting. Probably should have done that resource. That was an error. So now I'm going to flip Divination, which says it's an additional cost to play Divination. Discard a Shadowpact character card and pay 3 endurance. It's weird. I feel like I can't remember a time we've done this particular matchup.
I have a lot of double A's.
You do.
And you don't have good distribution in your deck selection.
That's true. Look at the
But
top
if you
3
did,
cards.
that would make their matchup unlikely.
Whoa. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Put 1 into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your deck. Do not have to reveal that card, which is cool. I guess. I guess Zatanna's gonna attack Guillotina. Oh, when I played this, I should draw a card. Sorry about that. I will play Collecting Souls, which does cost me 1 endurance. Target Shadowpact character gets +1/+1 this turn. And you lose 1 endurance. It has an ongoing effect that I can pay a resource point to remove a character card in the card pile from the game to put a counter on someone. It is ongoing.
We're stunned?
We are stunned. Oh, god damn it. When I play that, I pay 3 endurance to draw a card, and then we are stunned. And I take another 3 endurance on this.
I will activate Malice Wunderbar to play the negated Omega effect. As an additional cost to play Omega effect, exhaust a Darkseid's elite character control. Remove target stunned character an opponent controls from the game if you control a character named Darkseid. Stuff.
It's pretty legit. Not psyched about that. Alright.
Not negated.
Not negated. I'm going to chuck another
You have an
counter
extra
on this.
resource point. I'm not worried about it.
It's fine.
What a strange draw.
Yes. Is it? It's your initiative. That's not good.
I'm going to recruit Knockout.
I did suspect.
Knockout gets -1/-1 for each face-up resource your opponents control.
You can only replace the name.
Yes. And I may return a character I control to its owner's hand, and the controller of target stunned character KOs a face-up resource he controls. If he does, he puts that character face down into his resource row. I may only use this power once per turn.
Right, this is where I wish I had reservist. So you're -1/-1. What the hell is this thing?
I didn't look at it.
That's true. -1/-1 for each face-up resource I control, and
-2/-2.
KO something.
I think I returned to my hand, right?
You return to your hand.
Yep. And it KOs something of yours and puts it into your resource row in
Right.
place of a face-up resource of your choice.
Because you're a jerk.
Because I'm a jerk. Because Knockout's a jerk.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to play Conjuration. Play only during my recruit step. I can pay 15 endurance, which I will do. That's fine. I'm at 15. Gain 1 resource point, spend only on Shadowpact character. I'm going to recruit with my 5 resource points Blue Devil. When Blue Devil enters play, lose 4 endurance. When he leaves play, gain 8 endurance. And he's real big.
He's 10 then. He's a above average 5 drop.
That's right.
I'll leave 10.
What is your total attack? It's pretty big.
13, I think.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but if I stun knockout, there's not a period where you could fire the power.
That's correct.
And what was your attack?
13.
That's a lot of attack. Okay. Team attack, you say. So I'm going to flip up Objuration.
This is 12.
What's that?
Attack has been reduced to
It
12.
has been reduced to 12. As an additional cost to play Objuration, pay 5 endurance.
Oh, you're overextending.
It's
I'm
fine.
at 47 life, sir.
I'm not worried about it.
Although if this attack fizzles, it's going to be kind of a swing.
Target Shadowpact defender gets +3 defense this attack.
Oof.
Ongoing. At the start of the build phase, gain 5 endurance if you have 10 or less endurance. Right now I'm 1 up.
Yep. Well, you see, what I can do about that is...
It's real important that you don't do things.
Yeah, I can't do anything about it. That's unfortunate.
That is really important because otherwise this is going to be a super short game. I will, of course, attempt stun knockout.
It's going to work. It's a big swing. It cost you a lot, though.
It did.
I think I'm making you pay more than you're comfortable with.
I'm not. I'm at 6. I'm not psyched. And it's gonna limit my ability later on. I am going to attack Guillotine for 10.
Of course.
Yep. Yep. Get him, Blue Devil. I guess I'm going to... If I fire Oblivion Bar to gain life, then I don't gain life from this. So do I consume? I think I put another counter on Oblivion Bar that turn. 3. Is that right? No, I sit there with 2 counters on Oblivion. I don't use Oblivion Bar on a turn.
I don't understand.
Well, so this triggers at the start of the build phase. I generate life if I'm
Right.
at 10 life
But
or
why wouldn't
less.
you put a counter on?
Well, so I'm close enough to death that, like, so if I put a counter on and I gain 5 life from this, was I at 8 life? Is that correct?
No.
I was at 6. I was at 6 life. So before I did anything. So I'm at 6 life. Here's where the decision point is. If I put a counter on this, I'm at 3. This puts me up to 8. And then
you
I
have
can
to pay to put a counter on it. That's why you don't. I see.
Right.
I see.
And then
that's
when
the down. I wasn't seeing the
yeah,
downside.
yeah.
The downside is the 3 life.
And
Gotcha.
yeah, so I think
No,
I just
mean that's reasonable. That-
yeah, because I get the 5 from this anyway, and
now
then I
that
have
I'm
a burst.
understanding everything that just happened.
Yeah. Right. So I'm gonna draw some cards. This here card, and also this here card. That's interesting. And then we enter the build phase, and I gain I'm up to 11. That's stupid. It's also probably the right choice, and that's also stupid. We're gonna do this. And then I gonna recruit so lame. I'm gonna recruit Nightmaster. Nightmaster is a 9/9. I can pay a bunch of endurance to recruit him for free, which I'm not doing. I can also pay a resource point, which I don't have, and I gain 5 life. I can only do that once per turn. And then I'm just going to form like this. It's a legit 5-drop recruit. Still in a decent position. Not terrible, but you're going to start Darkseiding.
I've got Darkseid.
Yeah.
Whenever Darkseid stuns a character... Well, alright. I have to do this a particular way. Pardon me. As additional cost to play Ancient Evils, reveal a character from your hand and choose one of its affiliations. I would reveal Darkseid and choose Darkseid's elite. Ongoing characters named Darkseid you control gain the chosen affiliation, and free characters named Darkseid you own are not unique this turn. Uses power only once per turn. I then recruit Darkseid. Whenever Darkseid stuns a character, its controller loses endurance for each face-down resource it controls. I will then
flip... only 2. Why are you doing more?
Ancient Throne. Whenever opponent flips a location or plays a plot twist from his resource row, if you control a character named Darkseid, you may discard a card. If you do, turn a face-up resource face down. This power triggers only once per turn. And I want to point out, Mr. Pay Life to do everything, I can turn your resources face down.
Whoa, when I flip things, you can turn my resources face down. Any resource?
Target resource.
In response, I will flip up Ancient Throne and Spirit of Naboo. Spirit of Naboo is an ongoing plot twist. It says, pay 2 endurance. Target character you control has flight and range this turn. Use only once per turn. And I got Ancient Throne.
They're all ongoing, god damn it, Kyle.
Yep, they're all ongoing and they're all face up. F you, knockout.
She's so tiny.
She's really small. She's really
I had not
small.
foreseen this.
You never foresee a tiny knockout. This is a very rare circumstance, and I'm reveling in it. I don't even know what the... I'm at 11 life. I'm getting pummeled. You've got characters that you
5'3"?
Yep. But knockout is tiny, and that's all I care about right now.
Yeah, this turn's not going to go great for our hero. Cool.
So, unfortunately, my opening play is to attack Knockout with Nightmaster. I can't go after Darkseid. And he flips things whenever I flips... that flips... I got the card myself. I can read it. Right. Wow. That is real unfortunate. Also, cards that control named Darkseid are not unique this turn.
Alrighty. If you like.
I do like, thank you.
I accept.
Whoa.
I'm taking
Whoa! What is
6
happening?
breakthrough.
Oh my god. I really don't like that you just took all that. I guess you got 40 life, so you can afford to do things. I love Shadowpact. They're so great. I don't even know if I'm winning or losing. I might be losing this one, but they're real fun. Because I don't know what's going on. It's great. Magical Shadowpact.
I pass.
Whoa! Whoa! Shenane! Boy, I did not, Ian. I did not. Feels like a trap. Man. Man, oh man. I don't know what to make of that. Oh my god. You can flip my stuff face down. Ugh. That's terrible. So terrible, Ian. So because I don't know what to do, I'm going to play a divination from my hand. I must discard a card, pay 3 endurance, and look at the top 3 cards of my deck. One goes into my hand. Alright, I know I don't want this one. Pretty, yeah. It's actually, I don't know why I was thinking about that. It was not that hard. Right. So now that we've established that, do I risk swinging at Darkseid? It's so awful. It's so bad. If you stun me, I'm down to a small amount of health. I do have the Oblivion bar. So if necessary, I can consume a counter to get 3 life. And that's pretty cool. This card is so valuable, it'd be such a waste to use it. The problem is I've had to play everything. So my options are exceptionally limited. And knockout is still a threat. Because when you have initiative, if you stun someone, you can fire her power. Can she pop herself?
Mm-hmm.
I've got to go for Darkseid. I've got to do it. I'm going for Darkseid.
Target Darkseid's elite defender you control gets +2 attack. If that character is named Darkseid, it also gets +2 defense.
Right, so you're 1 ahead. I will play...
Yes, spend your life.
That's what I do. It's so bad you don't even know, because it's Magical Conduit, where I spend X life and get +X attack. So now I have to decide how many more things you're likely to have. And that sucks, because I'm also going to get stunned this attack. That sucks.
And you're pinged for nothing.
That sucks a little less. I think I've got to do like 5.
Whoa, that's so many.
Well, here's what I get. So you're 1 ahead of me. Maybe I could get away with 4. You're 1 ahead of me. I have to account for,
yes.
like, right now you're 1 ahead of me, so I need to do a minimum of 1. I need to assume 1 power-up.
Okay.
And 1 more of those.
Okay.
If I did 4 more attack, and you had 1 power-up and 1 more of those, it still wouldn't be enough. So that's what I'll do. I'll do 4. And then I'm dead.
That'll work. I'm going to take some breakthrough. I'm going to take 3 breakthrough? Is
Well,
that
you
how
could
that maths?
Reinforce, of course.
No.
That is how that math works. I'm at -1.
And now, you have no life to negate the Omega effect.
Right.
Which also pings you for nothing, because I control Darkseid! And you having all your resources face up.
That's amazing. So I will point out, when so that's removed from the game. So when Blue Devil leaves play, gain 8 endurance. I would assume that still triggers.
Yes, he's leaving play.
So I do gain my 8, which puts me at +7, but I've obviously lost my biggest character.
You will afford to keep that out. That's
Yeah, at this point, it's a real push. I guess that was worth it. I think that worked.
I don't
out.
know, like, I'm spending tons of life to do stuff to you now.
Yeah,
It's like I'm playing your deck.
Whoa. Oh, the ham. Oh, but you can do everything against everything, and it's awful.
What? What language are you
I
saying?
don't want you to flip my stuff. That gives you power. But by forcing other things. Well, it's your
I have
initiative, right?
I guess.
so
Well, I've got
you do stuff.
Darkseid. No, not this one. Sorry. I've got Darkseid. I may have more.
You activate that thing to play him. Or does that
No,
ongoing
I have a free
thing? Oh,
ongoing.
never mind.
I don't need to.
Stupid.
Whenever Darkseid stuns a character an opponent controls, target character that player controls gets -1 defense this turn for each face down raise. All this stuff is not doing anything.
You do actually get to replace something of mine.
Do you have a non-ongoing?
Oh, no!
No, I can't. I can't target any of your stuff.
I want you to know I'm really happy right now, even though I don't know
There
what's
was
going on.
so much replace and ping and like 5 different things would have targeted your stuff and didn't.
Yep, that's true. That's true. So that flips stuff face down. That's so weird. That's real weird. Do I play something I don't want to flip? You're putting me in a weird position.
You're putting me in a weird position.
Well, that's a weird position. Still could be right. Still could be right. You don't even.
Just so I can run the math correctly for this turn, can you tell me how much I have to kill you by?
So at this precise moment, you need to get me
11?
5 under.
Just 5?
It's just this. This triggers during the build phase.
Okay.
So this triggers now, and I am at 12, not 7.
Right. So, but you get you to -5 to successfully kill you.
Correct. Because then I fire this, I'm at net 0.
Rose Psychic.
Correct. So I'm putting down a resource. It is face down. I'm going to recruit Rose Psychic with her boost, which I don't normally do. So Rose Psychic is concealed optional. I'll make her concealed. At the start of the combat phase, lose 3 endurance. At the start of the recovery phase, gain 6 endurance.
That could divide you by 11 now.
Correct. Her boost is, when Rose Psychic comes into play, it's a boost 3. If you don't control Dr. Occult, go get him. Bring him into play.
Ugh, this is tough.
It's not as good as a 6-drop by some measures, but... So Dr. Occult says, while I have 25 or less endurance, he gets +2/+2. When I have 10 or less, an additional +1/+1. He's also got a boost that lets him do the reverse for Rose Psychic. Yep. This game is weird. Also, my Darkseids are not unique this turn. Boy, it's ugly, but I think I got a form with everyone in my front row. So right now, would you object if I used counters to indicate
Sure,
a cult's
no, that
power?
actually will help me a little bit. So
Again, those are not counters. They're dependent upon my life. So right now, he's actually this.
Right.
But at the start of the combat phase, I lose 3 life from Rose Psychic, and he becomes that.
Okay. I wish you had more. If you had more face down resources, I would be so dominating this game.
I'm well aware.
As it is, I have to struggle for every inch.
I'm glad I'm making it interesting.
I exhaust 5-drop Darkseid to play Shock and Awe. As an additional cost to play Shock and Awe, exhaust a character named Darkseid you control. The controller of target character moves it to his concealed area.
Oh,
I will choose, unfortunately, Dr. Midnight.
Yeah, Dr. Occult.
Dr. Occult.
Clever.
I will attack your 5-drop with a 6-cost Darkseid for 12.
Interesting.
When 6-drop Darkseid stuns a character, target character gets -1 endurance, not -1 defense for each face down resource you control, and it's friggin' 1, and I will take it.
Yes, you shall. very interesting play thing that you did. So I'm gonna discard Nightshade to play another divination. Pay 3 endurance.
Stop doing this.
It's fine.
thing.
It's fine.
Stop it.
This card is a card. This is also a. Don't need this one. This is actually gotta be that. For all the wrong reasons, Ian. For all nope, that's disgusting. For all the wrong reasons. I sure am in a
I'm gonna
position.
lose this game, and I'm gonna be really grumpy about it. I hate getting to this part with Shadowpact where it's like I just can't take it home. I'm so close.
Well, this is really, really close. How many cards are in your hand? Let's play that.
One.
Game. One card. Oh.
I don't even know how I got so few cards in my hand. I play a lot of stuff from my hand. 1, 2.
You powered up at all? You did power up at least once.
4 cards from my hand, so that's about right. Woof.
1. You got 2 face-down plot twists.
Maybe plot twists.
2 potentially face-down cards that would be useful to you this combat, and a card in your hand. And you're at 12-12 attacking my 9-9. Yeah. Oh my god.
Do it. I dare you.
I want to
Flip
do
it up.
this. I want to do this.
See what happens.
Oh. Oh. Man, I'm so close to what I want to do. I'm so close, Ian. If I do nothing, I will take 8 damage, probably 9 from Malice. That's not enough to kill me.
That's true.
Boy, I can't quite get away with what I want to do. Right. So that's just gonna work. I don't know.
I'm gonna reduce Dr. Occult's defense by 1.
That's a thing you can do. So I saw you were as printed 12.
Yep.
3 breakthrough 5. You take 8. I'm at -2. Eventually, I'm at -2. Really want to do things, Ian.
I'm gonna lose this game, and I'm gonna be grumpy.
I think the funny thing is, I think you know I have to pass, so I will pass.
Yeah. I think I gotta just hit you for the 1.
Yep, every hit. I'm at -3.
Until...
Recovery phase, and I'm up to 3. I don't have to adjust the die. Card I want.
Do you not also use the Oblivion Bar? I mean, there's no...
Yeah,
there's not a
I will use it now.
compelling reason.
No,
not
you
to.
are correct. I use the Oblivion Bar now because I'm still under 10 life, so I still get to trigger the next thing. And I draw this card. What? Wait, did I just draw that? I drew only 1 card. Not change my situation. Boy, oh boy, is that a thing that has occurred. So I'm up to 13. Now I have a really meaningful choice. I want. I so want. There's 2 ways I could play this turn. I think that's the wrong way. every time I play something, you can flip something face down. That's terrible. So terrible.
Discard a card to do.
It's true, you're not rolling in cards. You have 3 cards in your hand. You had 1 card a second ago. Oh, your resource. I have to put a resource down, which makes you stronger. Really hate that. Flipping stuff is bad for me. I hate that too. It's gotta be this card. My Darkseids are not unique. I'm going to recruit Phantom Stranger. He's a 17-14 with flight and range, but his power is that I can discard him from my hand to modify my stats. So he's just big.
This king.
Oh.
I've got another Darkseid.
Oh,
It's another copy of the 6-drop.
Not terrible. Your power is good. I now have 2 face-down cards. Not psyched about that. What is the way? What is the way? What is the way? You still have a lot of life. I think there are things I can do that will make it certain that we see next turn. I'm not sure.
I don't think I can kill. You're at such
Yeah,
a
maybe
high
you can't
life
kill
amount
me.
that I don't think you're in a position where I can kill you. Was a
Yeah,
really
maybe
complicated
you're
way
right.
to restate that.
Yeah. I think I just attack. I think I've got to do with Phantom Stranger. Man, I wish I could do it with Nightmaster. Is there anything that I can do here with? I want to get you. Don't have flight at the moment. That is a weakness of Darkseid.
Darkseid has no weaknesses.
Fair counter argument. I think I pay to endurance to give Nightmaster flight and range. And I will
Nightmaster,
attack.
Flightmaster?
Correct. And I will attack. Probably Malice. Is that true? Then Nightmaster gets to soak some stuff. Sure wish I had more of that thing that I don't have.
Were you decided? You were
It's one of the 2 back rows. I've got to open with Nightmaster. It's the other guy. He pings for face down. That's what he does. He pings. It does have to be Darkseid in the back row. I'm gonna play something, so you're gonna get to do stuff. Oh, it's so dangerous. Such a good card, though. Is that the right play? I'm gonna deal you 5. I'm gonna take a lot of damage from this attack. Can you kill me? Probably not. We gotta do it. I'm gonna play Mystical Binding. So, I will refresh you on what Mystical Binding does, because I think you would get to know its effects before you can decide what you flip. Mystical Binding can only be played...
It's triggered. This goes on the stack. We'll deal with it.
Right, yeah, that's right. Play Mystical Binding only during your attack step, and only if you control a Shadowpact character. There's an initial cost to play it, pay 3 endurance.
You can't attack.
It's
important.
it's got 2 effects, but they must target the same character, so this is a decision. Target character gets -3 defense this turn and cannot attack this turn. I think it is one of your front row Darksides. And I think we make it that one.
And the attack is versus this Darkseid.
Correct.
Okay, so the attack's not going to resolve right now.
Right. So you
That
can
affects
flip
on the
something,
stack.
Yeah.
This trigger lets me put an effect on the stack.
Correct.
And I have to decide what I wish to put down. If anything.
If anything.
Could you remind me what abilities you have, what resources you have that cost you endurance to flip up?
Abjuration costs me 5 endurance
To flip it up.
to flip it up. It gets me life back at the start of the build phase, but gives a defender +3 defense for the attack. Collecting souls costs me 1 endurance for 1/1 in any combat. For the turn, for a character for the turn, so I can flip it any time. This one obviously costs endurance. This one's a free flip. And Oblivion Bar is, of course, Oblivion Bar. I don't think any of mine are super juicy, for what it's worth. They're super desirable.
It's got to be shock and awe.
Yeah. Read me what that is again so I know it's coming. That's exhaust or...
As an additional cost to play shock and awe, exhaust a character named Darkseid you control. The controller of a target character moves it to his concealed area.
Oh, you can keep hiding my dudes.
Go ahead and exhaust the Darkseid you attacked to play shock and awe.
Whoa! And you have to
Remove
discard a
your
card to do it.
7 drop. No, I have to discard a card to flip something down.
I see.
Remove your 7 drop to your concealed area. And then I'm going to reveal that in my resource row is Mad Harriet. Reveal Mad Harriet and pay 1 endurance to exchange the position of Mad Harriet and target face-up non-ongoing plot twist. That is non-ongoing. Right?
It is, yeah. You can take Mystical Binding. That's interesting. You won't be able to flip it, but you can get the swap out of it. Oh, it's fine. Mad Harriet was stopped this whole time. I guess you only had her past couple of turns, potentially. Guess she's reservist. Take solace from that. Right.
And then the attack resolves. And this guy, for recollection's sake, cannot attack over...
And it's -3 defense for the turn.
-3 defense.
Interesting. Yeah, it's going to work.
I'm stunned, and you're pinned for 2.
That's correct. That's correct. For 2. 6. And then I take, of course, the 5, 7, 1. I'm like, that's too much life. What am I doing wrong? You just hit me for 13.
15. Or 13 plus your face-down resources.
Yeah. Not much I can do
I don't
about
think
it.
it's going to be enough, though. But we had a good run.
It's a good chunk. I know that's Mad Harry. I don't know when I'm looking at her.
She's pretty hot.
So yeah, there you go. Pretty yeah. 15. You said. I'm at negative 14.
It's 13 plus 2 if you don't flip anything, yes.
And I will not flip anything. So I'm negative 14. So I might as well get one thing out of the way. I'm going to be popping Oblivion Bar for life this turn, so let's get that just taken care of. So I am at negative 9.
I ran you out of Oblivion Bar. That's awesome.
It's a weird game. There are lots of turns where using it might have killed me, so I couldn't build the counters up the way I normally do.
Gonna lose this game and it's going to make me grumpy.
So, I've got to deal to you 25 unanswered damage. It's a lot of unanswered damage. 26 unanswered damage? I'm just failing at math here. No, 26. 26 unanswered damage. That's don't have that by a massive margin here.
Well, the unanswered is the hard part.
Right. Right. But a very important part, I might add. So, you did hit me clean, so you haven't been able to reduce anyone's defense.
That's
You're
true.
completely out of cards except that one card. Are there any... Is there anything on the board that's actively affecting stats?
No.
So the only thing that is actually actively affecting play on your side of the board that I'm aware of is that A, that one card, and B, I guess you're out of cards in your hand, so you can't do that thing. Oh, that's only once a turn anyway. So you have one card there and nothing in your hand.
Correct.
All right.
Darkseid is not unique.
And Darkseid is not unique for the turn. On the whole board. Both sides. Darkseid's not unique everywhere. Rare thing that happens. I've already spent this. So the only things I have to play...
Is that once a turn? I thought
it is only once per turn. Pay 2 endurance, once per turn, one character. Though I can have multiple of them, of course. Okay. So let's just start mathing. I think the only way to get you is to take out your whole team. Which is unfortunate because that means I have to take more damage.
Yeah. At least.
At least one, and there is a risk of multiple. But the order matters because if I get counter-stunned sooner rather than later, you'll be able to reduce defensive characters that may not have a ton of defense. So the attack that I have to just hope works clean, and you're low enough on cards it might, is I must attack 6-drop Darkseid for 17. The one that... I was going to say the one that can't attack. The exhausted one.
So I will take 5 breakthrough, 11.
Okay.
I'm gonna lose this game. It's gonna make me nervous.
Rose Psychic will attack Pee-wee McGee in the back, and I have a single power-up.
Okay. So your attack is 6. And you'll take 4.
I don't think I have you. I think you're going to win this game. Make me angry. You're at +1.
Well, no, I am.
Oh, but Rose Psychic
You
gains
will
me
live.
life.
Yeah,
Oh.
If you pass, we go to next turn, my team's mostly gone.
Now, if we... Oh, what's interesting about it, if we pass, I gain 6. I would still lose. So I must do the attack.
Oh, because you're out of Oblivion Bar.
Correct. I've already done it. So, Dr. Occult, I haven't mathed it. Attacks your 6-drop with 1 power-up.
So your attack is 11.
It is 11.
And my defense is 9.
Correct. So
So
you'll
I will take 8. I'll be at -9, but you're counter.
I'm counter-stunned, so I'm at -13. And then I do
But
gain
then your
6.
gain puts you ahead.
I
lost
am
the
at
game.
I am at -7. -7.
It was an interesting game, nonetheless. I didn't get a lot of my pieces. This was actually
For sure.
another copy of Ancient Evils.
For sure. So this is a funny card to be stuck with in your hand. True name, I'll read it because it's sort of novel. It's an ongoing plot twist that says, play only during the build phase and only if you control a Shadowpact character. Lose 5 endurance, and then I can replace it to gain 5 endurance. It's just a life control card, but it's a net neutral. And then I did finally have to cram a character down there. That was a really...
I was entertaining.
That was a
I enjoyed
really
it.
entertaining game. I love Shadowpact. They always get... I will say this. I feel particularly good for what it's worth about that particular game because I had to do some really weird things I don't normally do with them. I searched...
Played Shotgun a lot twice.
Yeah, that was strange. It was a strange game all around. I got to thwart Knockout, which it never happens. Normally, you playing Darkseid is me complaining about Knockout for the second half of the game.
I kind of expected that.
Well,
shit, because Knockout can...
she's amazing.
When I recruited her, your only face-up resource was Oblivion Bar. And I'm like, oh, he's going to be mad. She's going to be so mad.
Well, you'd already removed one of my characters
Yeah.
from the game. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, I can flip everything except what you give me. And then you gave me a card I could flip, and I'm like,
That made the
got a
difference.
shot.
It made the difference.
Huge difference. It made a huge difference. I will say this: out of all the replays to look at, that's going to be a real weird, interesting replay to view. I've never searched deliberately for Conjuration like that. I rarely play Conjuration on
Which
the turn
one,
that
which
I
one's
play.
Conjuration?
Conjuration is pay 15 to.
Well, I mean,
recruit.
Well,
I've
if you've
used it.
missed your early drops, that's
Yeah.
a great play.
Yeah.
You should
Well,
absolutely do that.
I should if
But
I'm
you
not
have
being
to
pummeled.
ensure that you have both 5-drops, because if you recruit the 5-drop
Right.
and then you don't do anything on 5, it's terrible.
Right. And what was weird
And you've
about
done that.
it-
I've seen you do that.
Oh yeah, I've done some stuff. That was super weird though. So to play that and bring out Blue Devil, but then also to have to just recruit Nightmaster straight up. I have to do that sometimes, but it's not really what you're going.
Well, what I was relieved by, and this I couldn't believe, is you weren't playing any of your stat mods. So normally
have
your
any stat
2
mods.
5-drops are supposed to be scary to my 6-drops.
Right.
I felt like I was getting away with stuff.
Right.
In the game.
Well, and a Shadowpact is weird because the consequence of me having all the ongoing stuff to block you is I had reduced stat modification.
Yeah.
And admittedly, their stat modification's a bit volatile. You get things like, because I played some earlier on,
Yeah.
the +3 defense on defense is amazing, at a high price, but amazing. I had the 1/1. Like, I actually played some stat mod early on, but then I kind of burned out and just had some, like, easy flips that aren't super impactful. But the number, that's one of those games where, like, the intricate number of things that just win a very specific way. You giving me the face down resource, me having the ongoing plot twist to fit.
I wasn't joking. I threw a number out there, and it was the correct number.
Yeah.
There were 5 plays or interactions that we had where I had something that triggered based on the number of face down resources you control, or targeted a face down resource you control, or replaced a specific type of face up resource
Right.
you control and couldn't fire them.
Wow.
5.
Wow. I want to just acknowledge how uncommon that is.
It was
Like-
very frustrating.
Like against Darkseid, I've usually got a couple of things flipped.
Yeah.
But not all of the things. And even in Shadowpact, it's usually not all of the things. That was a
And
very weird
in a
circumstantial
2-point
draw.
spread game, that was the difference maker.
It was a
With
huge
every one of those was the difference maker.
The concluding score was -7 and -9.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it was like there were many points. Well, but even doing things like realizing that not doing anything with the Oblivion Bar, like usually it's, well, do I put a counter on Oblivion
Yeah,
Bar
yeah.
or
That-
not?
That was the difference maker.
Yeah, I had to not do
You
anything
had
with
3 less life. I win.
You have any idea how long it took me to even see that I could do nothing with the Oblivion Bar? This is unheard of. And then even things like,
That was very well played on your part.
well,
all of it.
it worked out. And, you know, sometimes you play by the skin of your teeth and it works out. But the one other thing that I was wrestling with this for so long, I'm like, you know, you were getting low on cards, and I'm like, I've got Phantom Stranger, and I can get +2/+2, and that exactly matches. But I knew the right choice was to not play his power and to save him as for the actual play. It was very weird.
There's something funny that happened. Is that play on 7
twice.
when we did all that stuff? I was like, all right, I'm making the play. I'm going to hide his 7-drop.
Yeah.
I'm going to shotgun off, and I get to hit his 5-drop
Yeah.
with my ready Darkseid
Yeah.
and reduce the defense of
Yeah.
his 7-drop. And then you were counterstun. I'm like, oh, I only get to hit him really hard. That's not what I want.
Yeah.
That's not how you beat Shadowpact.
That was so weird. Well, and the meta Darkseid strategy of the secret to winning with Darkseid is you hide all of your opponent's characters. Where did that come from?
Well, it's in there to be like a scary surprise once.
It was so... I was so
Because it's
unprepared
really
for that.
costly. Like, my lowest cost Darkseid
Right.
is 4, and
Right.
usually that's kind of hit or miss, and it's 5 or greater.
Right,
so
right.
exhausting a Darkseid is really expensive. But hiding your last visible character makes a huge difference.
I couldn't believe it. Like, the first time you did it, I'm like, that's going to be a problem if he gets another one of those. I'm like, he has another one of those if I play anything ever. So then you're juggling. Against Darkseid, you always have to juggle, like...
Well, here's the funny thing, is I would have the 7-drop swings the game in my favor. The 7-drop Darkseid.
Ugh. I would have been.
I
You would have
had
had
the search card, and the search card is discard any number of cards and go get a cost less than their or equal to their combined card. But to flip it down, I also have to discard a card. So I'm like, I had one card in my hand, so either I could discard it and hope I drew two characters.
Gosh.
But then I couldn't play a reason. Like, there was no way I could use that. I really wanted to use that to get the 7-drop, and literally could not.
That is really weird. It was really weird. You ran out of cards. I don't know what happened there.
I played 4 cards from my hand.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure why.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have put the extra ongoing in my resource row.
Yeah.
Like, I might have not put either in my resource row, because they're easier to discard than the...
Well, there were other weird things, like, and maybe I would have done the Rose Psychic play anyway, but I legitimately did not have a 6-drop. So, like, I played ahead for Blue Devil with the Conjuring, or Conjuration. And then on 5, I'm like, well, okay, I have to play Nightmaster. When you just play him, he's not a particularly good 5-drop. He's just a 9/9 with a pay an extra resource point to gain 5 life, which is pretty mediocre for a 5-drop with no flight and no range, but whatever, I'll play him and have 2 5-drops, so okay. But then, we get to 6, and I'm like, I don't have a 6-drop. And I played Divination 3 times.
I thought for sure you had the counterspell cards. I thought for sure you were going to have more mystical bindings.
I never got them.
Like, I was anticipating so much scary stuff.
Yeah, I never got them.
So many cards. Or looked at so many cards.
Not drawing them. It was, and not only was I not drawing those cards, I kept thinking, sooner or later I'm going to need a 6-drop and a 7-drop. And then the 7-drop I drew is the one that you really just want to look for a key opportunity to discard. And the 6-drop ended up being Dr. Occult and Rose, which is not a bad play. It's not terrible. But I was getting worried because being under in stats when I was definitively burned early that game, because I really was worried. It was like 11-40, and that's like a Shadowpact. When that happens on turn 4, it's kind of scary. And then I'm like underdropping and going,
But then I went down to 22 to get the extra KO.
Did you spend life?
Well, no, but I let you hit through my character.
That's right.
I did not reinforce anybody.
You took a hit.
I took 2 hits.
Yeah. Well, and what an odd fluke that, was that Malice? That Malice was sitting out there for the whole game?
Whom I
was that
searched
Malice,
for.
the 2-drop? Yes,
I
the
searched
2-drop.
for her just so I could have a 2-drop so that I could do stuff later with her.
Right, right. Well, I will say, you know what, in hindsight...
I think that was the right choice.
So to replace something of mine, do you have to discard? Is she one of the... You have to discard and then...
No, she replaces when a character enters play under my control.
So you don't have to discard to trigger.
I don't have to do anything to do her, but the targetable resource is non-ongoing plot twist, and it must be face up already when I recruit the character.
Right.
And so it meant, like, even if once you had everything face up, it's 2 turns until I can hit something.
Yeah, what an odd circumstance that was. So the fact that not only did she end up not being particularly useful until arguably the very final turn, where you did get to replace something, but
I didn't.
She became. I thought
she never fired.
Didn't you get?
She fired early
binding?
once.
You got mystical.
I got mystical bindings with the lady in my resource row. What's her name? Mad Harriet.
Oh yeah. Did you never fire her?
She got something early.
Oh,
she replaced. She got
She got me the throne.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was it.
Yeah, that was so weird. It was so strange.
But then, like, she's not supposed to be super successful because she's a 2-drop,
right?
And that's why she can only target non-ongoing face-up, non-team-up plot twists. So
and the non-team-up is a good qualifier for sure. What an odd series. But then the fact that she was a critical liability for you at the end. Yeah. Because she's sitting there with by far the lowest defense. And I might have been under your 6-drops except for my one big guy, but...
she was never stunned.
And even thinking about that last turn, My saving grace, and the reason we didn't see the next turn, is I had one power-up for Rose Psychic and one for Dr. Occult. And that was the 2 extra damage that I won by. So if I didn't have those 2...
It was an interesting game.
Very, very odd game.
All right. Well, we should say goodnight to our
those were decent games tonight.
Yeah.
It's only 2, but
it was a good one.
except for
Yeah.
that first one that
Good
the 2-minute game that we'll ignore.
Yeah. So thanks for watching,
Yeah.
and we'll be back. We are capable of being back next week. Any reason not to?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
So we can do a back-to-back
1 week
for a
from
change?
now. Yeah, we're gonna do that for a while until I my Thursday D&D is over now.
Right.
But the Friday D&D doesn't resume until the first week in May,
Right.
I think. So there's like a 2 or 3 week period here where we
Right.
can just do back to back.
Right.
I guess it's going to be 2 weeks. 2
Right.
weeks from now.
Right.
This week, the next week, and the following week, we can all do streaming versus system. But yeah, good night, everybody. Thanks for sticking around.
hanging out. Have a great weekend.